think I'm on. There we go. Join on in. I'll wait until a few people check in and we'll get in the conversation. Check on in. I think it's on here. Hopefully it stays on. There we go. Peace, family. I like to introduce myself. My name is a big I'm the human ultra called this marquee. Making music all the way is my specialty. When I go, girls get excited. Going to work as long, so I'm just gonna hope that cross your fingers. Remember that back in the days, you cross your fingers to make sure the feet work. Okay. Okay. There we go. It's working. Check on in. Peace, Jennifer. Hey, Cora. All right, so I see a couple. I'm not going to wait until everyone jumps in because I want to get in the conversation before the feed goes out. Hold on. No, I'm listening to music. I told you I'm an old school hip hopper. Like my dad used to say, hippity hop. You know, my dad was an American. So peace to the east, the west, the north, and the south. Checking in. I wanted to actually start a new conversation, a bit of a conversation about the AI, a little bit of an expounding, thank you, a little bit of an expounding upon what has been probably the discussion since last Thursday show. Big up to Kiki, big up to Offset, those who were in the wave of the intel that I'm definitely, I'm feeling motivated to share with you. As you see in the title, it says, big up to everyone. Sometimes I come in this early, right? So I appreciate that. Thank you. NYC is in the house. What's good, Pavel? I just saw, you know, because I'm in Florida, I just saw a crazy New Yorker, one of our crazy New Yorkers, like beeping the heck out of someone right in front of me. I was like, okay, please don't make it bad for all of us. He was beeping somebody so intensely. I was like, oh my gosh, please chill out. Hey, hi, Maitreya, how you doing? Thank you. I appreciate it. So anyway, let's get into the conversation. So we have the soft takeover of the Chinese. I really had to have this discussion because we talked about AI. We're on the precipice of a full takeover. If you haven't seen it, we're going to talk about the residue and the actual tendrils that you're actually experiencing with the soft takeover of the AI coming with the Chinese. Oh, thank you. The Chinese right now have been perpetually just basically, remember, the Chinese used to be very, very isolatory in Asia, parts of Asia, they were very isolatory. Oh, no, family. They are expounding now and they're going globally. Okay, and they are found everywhere. In Haiti, they're taking over. In Jamaica, they're taking over. Most parts of the Caribbean, they're taking over. They've been in Mexico. That's why your president, is actually concerned about the border. It isn't because of the Mexicans, it is because of Chinese. In Africa, they're taking over. As you saw, I had a picture of African children waving Chinese flag. We are now experiencing the beginning stages of the Chinese takeover, which comes with the AI. And with the AI, you have to understand that they have been prepping people for a long time now. People will say, oh, FleurBrun, you're being highly proud. Hey, thank you, Pavel. I appreciate it. Starbucks decaf coffee on today, me. Thank you, Pavel. You know I need it. Thank you. I appreciate it. I kicked it off, but I definitely need a little bit of a big up to the C Star who was telling me about all the, you know, I know you all do it with love when you come at me when I'm drinking Starbucks, because some of you are like, listen, FleurBrun, how can we take you seriously if you're still drinking Starbucks coffee? Listen, I don't say I'm perfect. And if you're looking for perfection, it isn't me. I just share what I know. And obviously it could be a lot worse. I could be sipping on the yak every day. I'm a non-alcohol drinker and I don't chief. So that's the one thing that I do. And, along with some saucy things that I don't show on camera, but those other things, I'm joking. Anyway, so we're talking about the soft disclosure of the Chinese who have been coming here in the droves. Now, that is why your President Trump, is concerned about the borders and he's shutting it down. Big up to Aborzine, who brought it up on the intel on the show. Who brought up on the show that it was when he went into Mexico one time, a couple times, he was saying that he was seeing people speaking, not people who looked Asian. Now remember, there was a colonization of Central America and the North America, actually the Americas, by the Asiatic sect. This was over a couple hundred years ago. I mean, close to a thousand. Coastal, quite a few hundred years ago, there was a influx of Asiatics that came to the Americas. That's why you see a lot of the indigenous showing up with the copper skin and the very Asiatic features. That's a fact. So they've been here. It was like a small group of them came and they kind of mixed with the people in these local areas. So you'll see a very Asiatic kind of influence as far as phenotype. But we're talking about something very different. Now, big up to the Chinese on here, people from Asian background. This isn't, listen, I'm a first generation American. This is not I want to make sure I detail this. This isn't a judgment towards people, Asian Americans who come here and do absolutely phenomenal, who are part of our world. They're Americans now, just like I am. We're not talking about that. We're talking about something different. It's just like I have to give that kind of PSI statement to you just to let you know this isn't a hit to someone of a certain ethnic background. This isn't what I'm talking about. This is something else, okay? So there's been a soft takeover of the Chinese along with the AI. In Mexico, they are in the droves. That is why the border is being blocked. Oh, do you know, Renetta, oh, sorry, sidebar, Brenda, Renetta will be on the show on Thursday. Thank you for telling me. I have to follow up with her. Renetta's supposed to be on the show on Thursday show. You read my mind. Thank you, C-Star. Anyway, they're taking over and they've been at the border. Now, if you are unaware of what's going on at the border right now, the south border over, I think on the Tijuana side and over on San Diego side, I want you to know that there's a perpetual jump over that border. That is why your president is going bonkers and trying to threaten to, hey, Deborah, that's why he's threatening to shut down the whole border, because there's like 50, 100 people running over the border, and a lot of them aren't Mexicans. They are others, okay? You have in the Caribbean right now, over in Jamaica, that there is allegedly, let me watch my words, allegedly, there are a Chinese faction that is allegedly paying for hits of Jamaican delegates so they can take over the land. They want to make sure that the Jamaican people aren't able to keep a stronghold of their own country. Now, mind you, for those of us who are Caribbean, and big up to my Jamaican brethren, you already know, the Jamaican brethren already know, because if you've been to Jamaica before, as I have, you'll see that there was a little place like a Chinatown where they look very Asiatic, beautiful people, because remember, Asians mixing with brown people make brown people with Asian features, because remember, the Asians are mixed, they have hypermelanation inside. So what happens is that when they mix with brown people, they hold their melanin. So you'll see a huge town full of a very beautiful group of people that look, and they're married in my family. My brother actually married a woman who's what we consider to be Chinese Jamaican, but she's, looks like us, but just with very Asiana features. And even at the wedding, my brother's wedding, which we're used to in the Caribbean, because the Caribbean, we're mixed with so many of the wonderful migrations of people. But at the wedding, you see all these brown people with highly Asiatic features, or very fair people with Asiatic features. It was actually very unique to see. For those who are not used to it, us in the Caribbean, we're used to it, but for others, it's very odd to them. They look a little bit like Kimora Lee Simmons that kind of look to them, okay? Just giving you an idea, because some people don't travel, they're not used to seeing different types of people. Maybe it's not something they've ever experienced, so I'm just giving you a little bit of a bird's eye view. But in Jamaica, they had a small little town that was considered like a Chinatown, where people were mixed with a huge amount of the Chinese population. But now in Jamaica, they're buying up all the land and developing a lot of businesses, and Oh yes, I am aware of Seven Bomar. I am, and they are doing paid. Allegedly, there are paid hits, and they're killing a lot of. They're creating more coups because there's a lot of political uproar already in Jamaica, but they're creating more upheaval there. So a lot of people are dying or being killed, and I personally think that's my opinion, and I allegedly that there are paid hits by the Chinese to make sure that they can keep a stronghold over Jamaica. Okay, so big ups to my Jamaican brethren in the house. So we have them systemically all over. Now the border of Canada is complaining that there are now people, they're called Lacanese. Oh, I didn't know that in Ghana. Thank you for that. I had an idea there was a term. But over in Canada side, we're also having an influx of people coming over the border. So if you hadn't noticed already, when you call your teleprompting, many of you call and you listen to your normal customer service when you call your businesses or you're calling customer service for your telephone service. Have you noticed that they've added another language? When you call, remember, they're getting you prepared like they did in Europe when the others came over. This is a little different because it's a little stronger. When you call your customer service, do you notice that they added Chinese to the languages that you hear on the phone calls of customer service? Do you notice that now there's translations into Chinese on when you go to hotels and resorts now, more so than before? Do you notice that in your neighborhoods that you're starting to notice that there are people there that normally weren't there? Now, mind you, we did jump timelines. So this could be all a result of jumping timelines too quickly and having a little bit of the residue coming over to what was going to be futuristically. Do you notice that also that the commercials that you're watching on YouTube, on IG, also on Facebook, you're starting to see commercials, hair commercials, what else? Makeup commercials with Asian women, Chinese people that are showing up in these commercials, showing a list, beautiful people showing commercials now. You know why this is happening, right? Because they've already taken over. It's a soft takeover. So what you're doing is they're getting you prepared. Remember the little cartoon Ni Hao, Kailan? Ni Hao. Remember she used to be like Ni Hao, Kailan? Remember, family, this is not, they didn't just plan this yesterday. They planned this years ago. Ni Hai Kailan was a show that was preparing your children to speak Chinese because it was futuristically already preparing for the droves of people. Now, mind you, there was also report, intel, oh gosh, who was it? Somebody put it on here. Can someone, I think somebody put it on here. I forgot who it was. Hey, King Ezekiel, I forgot what it was. The animes. Okay, but someone put a video on here when there was intel. Now, this was a true intel list. It wasn't anything that was fabricated, to my knowledge. Did you hear the intel? It was a video and they had actually pictures and surveillance that there were places where there was airplanes full of Chinese people being dropped off. Listen to me, in our country being dropped off and shipped in right under your noses. Not through your main commercial lines, but inside of the country on private airlines, like private jetways. So the Chinese are here and they are taking over. Now, this is something a little different because you see that there's a big, now let me backlay a little bit. You know what's going on in Venezuela. Venezuela is now trying to be incepted by America. Remember, the president is, your president is anti to the elected president, Maduro. Maduro is the elected president that has been basically trying to be cooed out by another counterpart who the United States and the other European networks are actually supporting. Okay. Why does this matter? Because right now, Russia is sending troops to assist the Venezuelans backing Maduro. Also Cuba, which, Cuba and Russia are one of the same. That's why Cuba is independent. That's why they were considered to be ante to the States because they were in bed with Russia. So they have Cuban troops over there also under the guise of Russia. And now they have the Chinese backing the Russians. They're saying they aren't backing out of Venezuela, and the American president had threatened them, saying you better back out. Now, I want to bring this in. I want to keep focused. You do know that your president signed an EMP bill. Basically, I can't get into verbatim. I would have to read it, and some of you can go and do that research yourself. He signed an EMP bill protecting I think it's protecting. There's a lot of different verbiage in their language, protecting different companies or corporate interests during an EMP attack, something that allows for the government to take a certain stance during the EMP attack. Remember that. So remember that your president has just signed a bill for the EMP. Now, mind you, let's go. I don't know if you know what's going on in Venezuela. Venezuela has not just one, but 2 EMP attacks. Okay, remember, when someone messes with you, when someone's like a bully and they mess with you and they do little nasty things to you, like maybe they steal your lunch, okay, from the lunchroom, they steal your lunch, but you don't know about it, and then the next thing you know, they're accusing everybody of stealing their lunch. Okay, that's what America's doing when they do that, when they sign a bill for EMPs. Personally, Maduro thinks it was America who set out the EMP, and as soon as they got their Russia made a song calling the sleeping Negroes. Thank you for that. Thank you for the reminder. There's so much. Okay, family, I have to stay focused. Let me take another sip of my decaf. And one of our C-stars already funded me for another coffee for tomorrow. Hold on. Yes, Chinese owns most of U.S. debt. So that's why they're allotted to have people come into the country under your guise, because it's kind of like they're alleviating some of that debt by saying, listen, we know we owe you a lot of money. Let's just let a lot of your people, because they have an overpopulation over in China. You know that, right? Okay, let me go back to Venezuela. So there was EMP attack in Venezuela, not once, but twice. Okay. The EMP attacked and they had a blackout, total country blackout. It was mayhem. Remember also, U.S. was attempting to send resources and aid to Venezuela, but in the aid, according to Maduro, there were guns for a militia. They were sending arms for an interior militia that was trying to ensue or create more of a coup. Okay, so when Maduro says, we don't want your aid, and he blocked all the bridges to Venezuela saying, we don't want U.S. aid, people were like, how could you not take aid for the people? Oh my gosh, he's hurting the people. No, no, he was trying to keep America's dirty hands out of his country, trying to fund money and also arms to an inside coup that was going to take him over and probably assassinate him. Okay? So what he's doing is he's taking aid from Russia, and I think Russia's sending most of the aid now. I think China eventually. Okay, what does this have to do with the AI? If you notice that China, most of the Asian countries are technologically more heightened in technological advances than the States and the Western hemisphere, the countries of the Western hemisphere. They have basically in their own country, in China, they have surveillance over their own people. They have a modification system that also controls the ebbs and flows of their people's personalities. There's so many things connected to the AI that is basically online, and they're accepting that type of inception and control system via technology over in Asia. We haven't gotten there yet because we're too busy, Kim Kardashian and dropping it like it's hot, bombing other people's countries, for oil and whatever other natural resources. We're too busy in other arenas to actually take some time and actually focus on our own country advances and actually work on maybe advancing ourselves technologically in a healthy way. But I went off track. So we have the soft takeover of the Chinese. They're all here. They're at every border. Your president Trump actually knows about it. He isn't happy with it, but all the other Satanists and Luciferians are down with it. Okay. They're basically here. They're taking over. And what we consider to be a red dawn theory is now looking like it might be coming to reality sooner than later. Also, you got to take in consideration in Florida yesterday, we had a blue light. What they said was a meteor. Now, family, I'm going to tell you this because this is what's going on right now. They're doing testers. This is why Kiki and I did the show about the AI. It's very important. Yes, the Chinese have been up on that 5G plus. Okay, so that blue light that they called a meteor, which was yesterday in Florida, wasn't a meteor. Just like it wasn't a meteor when you saw the same the blue light in New York. Just like it wasn't a meteor that went over Venezuela and Cuba at the same time. It is a tester EMP. It's surveilling. I personally think it's go go go. Go, 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 go. I personally think that it's testing. It's part of Bloombeam, but it's testing or it's seeing or fielding the something around us. It's something that's governmentally set up, and I think it's by the other countries. I think that was sent by either China or by Russia. That blue, quote unquote, that blue meteor that was here yesterday. Now, mind you, in Florida, we also had a ship. Now, for many of you don't know, in Orlando on, was it Friday? Or was it Thursday? It was Thursday. I was in another timeline. We had a huge ship here. We had a whole sky blackout, which was odd. And then a hailstorm that I wasn't even involved in, that was supposedly in Orlando, which I didn't even experience. But I saw a huge, what I know is a cloaked ship. Now, mind you, you take that in consideration. Then you take the fact that a couple days later, they shot out a blue light, quote unquote, they call it a meteor, which was a meteor tester. And then as soon as Kiki and I did a show on Thursday, which they did, you know, that's why I say big up to Kiki. They did a attack on her. And right after that, I'm going to sidebar into something else. Right after that, they killed Nipsey. And people will be like, why are you connecting Nipsey to all this? It's very important because when I did the show on Thursday, we talked about the AI and it's connected to why they're promoting all this veganism, why they're promoting for you to do all these things. They've hijacked a lot of the things that they knew we would use. Also, I talked about the sparkles on your skin being denoted to nanotechnology being purged out of your skin, basically you purging it out of your system. As soon as I made that video, if you did not notice, and people think that it's not relative, it is all relative. Everything that they do is relative. Why would it be on the same day that I bring up and I'm not that important, but the information I bring you is important. Remember that. I'm not that important, but what I bring to you is they assassinated, and again, I say supposedly, okay, or allegedly assassinated Nipsey, because we don't know that he's dead, okay? Because the fact of the matter that it was ritualized at 33, he was 33, it was on the 6th, it was 6 shots, it was after a day of 333. It makes me think it was ritualized, and it makes me think he wasn't really dead, so to speak, but he was offed as far as he was used as a martyr, okay? And the martyr is meant to motivate people to be hypersensitive to the whole Sebi thing. Why are they emphasizing Sebi? Because Sebi was the promoter of living a lifestyle that was highly alkaline. Why is that important? Because what's happening is that once I made the video stating that veganism was a promoter, and it wasn't that the veganism is negative, it's that they are making you alkaline so they can basically hijack your cells by making all the nanofibers in you more susceptible to replicating and, you know, creating a system where AI can interact with the nanobots inside of you and basically hijack your brain. Now, after Nipsey died, all of a sudden there's a new resurfacing of this whole ideology of veganism. If you notice that I saw on people's platforms, they were like, "Oh, make sure you don't eat meat. Make sure you're being vegan." First of all, let me state this: Dr. Sebi was not a vegan. Let me say this again for those who don't know. Anybody who knows Dr. Sebi knows this. Dr. Sebi wasn't a vegan. He promoted herbalism as a way of healing your body. He promoted eating ancient grains to heal your body. Dr. Sebi actually ate fish occasionally. He was a pescatarian, what I consider to be a flexitarian. He ate healthy, but he also healed your body with herbs. Okay, so when people got really sick, yes, he stopped you from eating all the synthetic foods, synthetic grains. He took you and put you on a hyper alkaline body for a short period of time. It wasn't indefinitely. He did it to make your body go into a healing mode so that it could heal itself. After that, he didn't say that you had to be a vegan. He said that you should be more what do you call it? More self-aware of the things that you consume. So he said, he was a big fan of adding bladderwrack with sea moss. He made a lot of these wonderful things so you can add it to your staple of eating. He was not a promoter of veganism. Please stop. The rhetoric out here is real. He was a pescatarianism and a flexitarianism who utilized herbs for healing. And I talk about that all the time. The herbs, the conscious diet. Thank you. He was definitely a promoter of eating things like ancient grains, eating well, making sure you added certain things to your diet so that you were not hindering your body, allowing for regeneration. Plant-based, not vegan. Thank you. So please, for those who didn't know Dr. Sebi, who haven't any idea of what he personally did. Now, people who actually knew Dr. Sebi, who actually kikied with Dr. Sebi, who actually were at the Yusha village, knew this. This is something that they knew. For those who don't know, who are just talking from what they're reading or the propaganda or their agents, because family, as soon as Nipsey died, I've never seen so much rhetoric going back into promoting veganism that it was crazy. That's how I knew that what I shared with you on that day that I shared with you that veganism was being used as a tool to replicate nanobots inside of you, along with the blue field on your phone and along with your alkaline body to be able to hijack your synapses and take over your brain. That further solidified it when his image, when Nipsey, now mind you, we don't know that Nipsey was actually, rest in power, Nipsey. It created this whole fanaticism with Nipsey. Listen, he was a phenomenal hip hop person. He actually was trying to do positive things. But I see that his martyring, and I knew it was going to happen because it wasn't chance that as soon as I made that video was right after that the caricature of Nipsey was killed off. You think that was by chance? And again, I'm not that important, but the information I share with you is important. Hold on. Let me just read. I'm going to take another sip. Let me take a break. He was, if we are to be in alignment with what Dr. Sebi, rest in power, Dr. Sebi and Nipsey. If we're to be in alignment with them, we would also know they were in balance. Okay, Nipsey was going to make a documentation over Dr. Sebi. Okay, yeah, pork has parasites, but so does chicken. For those who listen, I'm not promoting you eat garbage. Okay, so let's keep that clear. FleurBrun has been part of the vegan vegetarian community for a long time. Okay, I have more of a vegetarian type of way, but I call myself a veggie girl because I'll go into fruitarianism, I'll go into raw veganism, and then veganism. I've done that for over 30 years, on and off. I've eaten meat before because obviously I was raised by Caribbean people who cook fish and meat. So I was raised by, big ups to my parents, pork has what is it called? Flatworms and things like that. But so does chicken. Chicken has the most parasitic things. I'm not telling you to go out and go get pork rolls or beef rolls or anything like that. I always am a promoter of eating the way your body requires and also being conscious. If you are a flesh eater still, I know people don't like when I say flesh. If you're still a flesh eater, be mindful of the animals you consume and always give honor to the life that's been taken to be able to nourish yourself and your family. That's it. Okay? All meat has parasites, but vegetables have parasites too. You know that, right? I grow everything. So, that's another thing. Be mindful when you call a spade a spade. Vegetables have parasites on them as well. Okay? Because remember, a lot of the vegetables, if you're not cooking them, if you're eating raw, the main thing that raw foodists know is that there are parasites on certain veggies, especially the greens. And if you grow your greens, like my collard greens used to have these little mites on the back of them. Okay? Don't worry, those mites, and some of you who cook collard greens all the time, you know this, they're on the back of the greens. They almost look like a gel. Okay? Only time they're killed off is when you cook them. When you put them in smoothies and not clean them properly, you have parasites in you. Okay? So please, for those vegans who are on here who feel like you want to call meat eaters demons for doing things and saying things that are based on meat being parasitic, just know your truth and know that you need to keep truth on both sides. Everything has parasites. Okay? That's a fact. And if you haven't grown anything, maybe that's not something you would know. Yeah, humans are parasites. You said humans have parasites. Humans are parasites. Humans are the parasites of the planet. If we want to keep it real, if we want to really keep it real, all the way real, humans, oh, actually, let me tell you, mankind are the parasites of the planet. Mankind goes around parasiting off of everything, feeding off of the land, not giving back, basically utilizing people's energetic fields, killing everything, pillaging, farming animals, taking people hostage. That's all parasiting. They're vampires. So if we're going to keep it real, call a spade a spade. Everything here is pretty much parasitic. We're living on a planet that's wild. It's like the wild, wild west. Anyway, I digressed. Okay. So, I just want to state that because I think I've heard so much rhetoric after Nipsey died that I knew he was being martyred, and I knew why they did it, and I knew why they kept connecting the name Sebi. Because Sebi, again, let me state this for anyone coming on, Sebi wasn't a vegan. Okay? He promoted holistic living and healthy consumption of healthy herbs and things that were more heirloom based. That's a fact. And if you don't believe it and you think I'm cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, talk to people who actually knew Dr. Sebi. Please don't listen to people who've never spoken to Dr. Sebi, who've never been to the Yusha village, who haven't a concept of that man. Now, was he basically murdered? That is my opinion that he was. Yes. I personally know my opinion is that he was. Okay? But there was a lot of naturopathic doctors and over the last 30 to 40 years that have been murdered as well. Dr. Sebi is one of many. So let's keep that real. Dr. Sebi was killed, but there have been more than 100 naturopathic and holistic doctors that have been murdered over the last, now I wouldn't say 10 years, over the last 30 years. Because if we go back where most people didn't know about naturopathic doctors, there were a lot of deaths previous to people even being part of that community. So it is facts. So he's one of many. Okay? I don't want to take away from his death, but that because a lot of us feel, in sync with him, but there was a lot of murders. Everything has worms. Everything has parasites. Okay? Pork and chicken have the most, okay? Because when people would ask me about consuming meat, I tell them that pork and chicken to me are the same. They're just as parasitic. Anyone who raises chickens knows this, okay? They have a lot of worms. They eat worms, okay? Their endocrine system, they eat a lot of shrubs, little bugs, okay? Okay? And the only reason you have pork that is actually has a lot of worms in it, because the pork that you're consuming isn't the native boar. Okay, people in the Polynesian islands eat the native boars, and the Hawaiian islands, they eat the native boars that actually have hair, dark fur, hair on their bodies, and tusks. The pig that's pink, that's mixed with human DNA that people are consuming is homogenized. It's part human. That's why that pink pig, that heart can be put into a human and actually function properly, because the DNA is so closely matched. Okay, so I'm just saying, know a little bit of the background of the different animals. Native boars are less parasitic because they actually have fur protecting their skin from mites going in. Pigs are pink and don't have fur. They've been stripped of it because they've been homogenized. There's no pink pigs in nature. There isn't. Okay? There isn't any pink pigs. There are any white chickens with pink eyes in nature. You go to Hawaii, you go places where there's native chickens in Hawaii and part of the islands. The chickens are brown with, feathers, beautiful feathers, dark eyes. They're not pink. They're not white with pink with pink eyes. Those are homogenized. Those are genetically modified animals that have been created. That's frankenfood. Okay, that's why the eggs that you eat that are white are natural. The brown eggs come from a certain type of chicken. Brown eggs come from brown chickens. White eggs come from those homogenized chickens with the stripped away melanin and the pink eyes. Okay, they've been created in a laboratory. So, family, the AI is here. It is, if you look online, half the population has been hijacked by AI. I've been looking and I've just made sure that I'm just keeping sane in a very insane world. I noticed that all these Nazi vegans have gone left, especially after Dr. Sebi, after Nipsey had passed away. This whole promotion of veganism has been resurfaced, and they're promoting veganism based on the fact that, based on some artificial intelligence, propaganding veganism because of Dr. Sebi. Dr. Sebi wasn't a vegan, okay? Okay. And, the Chinese are part of the reason why AI is becoming more prevalent in this country. And 5G coming on has everything to do with people. Oh, that's another thing. Let me bring this up. There was some intel that there were people having heart attacks at a ski resort. 2 separate ski resorts. For someone who saw the intel on this, please, you can correct me on this. I think it was 2 separate ski resorts. 2 separate ski resorts that there was intel that people were having heart attacks, but there were 5G towers close by. Okay, family. I'm not sharing it with you because I want to harm you. I don't want to. I'm not sharing this information because I want to scare you. I'm sharing with you so you could be proactive in keeping yourself healthy and basically rising above the riff. Am I telling you that eating flesh is positive? Absolutely not. I'm not saying it's negative either. Most of the indigenous ate flesh. You know that, family, right? And for those who go around saying, someone went on a rant. Someone went on a rant and a vegan, I'm still part of many vegan communities and vegetarian communities because I've been part of them for a while. But someone went ham on someone. Listen to the word ham. Someone went ham on someone yesterday, calling all meat eaters murderers. Okay, let me keep it real. And the only people who would state things like this are people who don't grow their own crops. Animals have feelings. Plants have feelings. If anyone has ever grown flowers, trees, plants are sentient. They feel. They actually communicate with one another. How dare you demonize people who are consuming flesh for their own healthy homeostasis? How dare you? When you kill plants, it is not appropriate to pull out a plant and eat it and pull it from its root. It dies. It feels its death, and its other counterparts react. Whenever one of my plants has a slow death, the other ones get sad. They actually fall to the side to be in support of the other plant. They're sentient. It isn't natural for you to eat plants like that. It isn't. It's natural for you to eat fruit. Fruitarianism is more cohesive to being a loving being. Fruit makes you happier. Fruit makes you feel good. It's picked from the vine. The tree doesn't die. Nothing dies. Picking up vegetables out of the ground is murder. So stop demonizing meat eaters, you hypocrites. My gosh, I seen that. And when I come in a conversation, I don't even have the conversation with some people who are not even, they're so hell-bent, excuse my language, on being so self-righteous when they're not even living righteous themselves. Because anyone who has feelings, who grows their own crops, even people who grow their own plants would know, because you have a feeling. I always ask my plants if I can have herbs. When I take something from my basil plants or my lavender, I always ask them. I say, is it okay if I take a little bit? And I never take from the ripest part of my plants. I always take from a part that's almost going into like what we consider to be like. So I take it right before. And I always ask my plants if I can use the herb. I always ask if I can clip them. That's being respectful. When you pull up broccoli, when you pull up some of your other things, a lot of times you kill them. You know that most of the time, all these mass farmers of vegetables, that's murder. And you think that you're above meat eaters? No, I'm here to tell you and remind you, you are murderers as well. If you promote veganism and mostly greens, you are a murderer. Now, if you're a fruitarian or a breatharian, or that's a little different. Fruits come from trees. The tree doesn't die because you pick it. The fruit is meant for consumption. Okay, that's how we also were able, like back in the days, we eat fruit with seeds, and as we go to the bathroom, we would actually seed, grow more trees as we go our stool, as we walk around, the seeds would pass through and we replant them. Okay, so fruits or fruitarianism is more in love and light frequency. And I told you, I come from the Caribbean people where they only use herbs for medicine. So herbs was only used as healing yourself. Just like a dog will eat meat all day, but a dog and a cat, but when they're not feeling well, what do? They eat grass. They eat greens. They don't eat greens every day. That's why when you feed a baby greens, they repel it because it isn't natural. Little babies, give them peas. Peas aren't healthy anyway. Give them peas or broccoli alone without any fruit in their mix. When you're introducing foods to them, every baby will repel it. Give your baby a mango or a fruit. They won't repel it. You know why? Because it isn't natural to the endocrine system. The only time you're supposed to consume greens to that amount is when you're healing yourself, because there's medicines, there's medicinal things that go on within the cellular component of the greens that allows for healing. I'm a fan of using herbs for healing and greens for healing. That is what Dr. Sebi promoted. He put people on a alkaline diet to heighten up their alkalinity, to rid of certain parasites, and to get rid of the atrophy or the acidity in their body. Because most people who went to Dr. Sebi weren't balanced. They were highly acidic. So if you're too acidic, then it causes cancers, all kinds of lesions, things like that. Too much acidity causes that. But as we know, when you're too alkaline, it can also cause forms of dysentery. It also causes a little bit of what do you call it? There's something that comes with being too alkaline. That's why I tell you, keep your alkalinity a little balanced. You don't want your alkalinity spiking over 7.5. It isn't healthy for you. Too much alkalinity can cause problem. Now we know that the alkalinity, now being too alkalized, is allowing for AI to interact with the nanotubes that have been coming on your skin via the chemtrails. Chemtrails coming on your body. So now AI is interacting with you. And now we thought that AI was actually telepathically. Remember I said AI was telepathically communicating, and every time we had a thought, it was showing up on our screen. No, now I know it's not telepathy. They're utilizing the little nanobots in you, the nanotechnology in you, to read your mind, and then they'll put it on your computer screen. And you're thinking, oh my gosh, it's mad. I thought it too. It's instant manifestation. It's coming on my screen, all my thoughts. I thought it too. Oh no, it's nanotechnology communicating with its AI hub, and now it's telling you everything that you like on your screen because it's already registering it in your body. Stay balanced. Thank you. Stay balanced. It's okay to be alkaline in a healthy way, not too alkaline and not too acidic. Somewhere in the middle is perfect. Okay, I'm not telling you to go out and eat beef every day. I'm not telling you to go kill cows and be okay with mass farming that kills, abuses, and hurts mothers and cows and calves and all that. That isn't what I'm stating. What I'm saying is to be balanced. Okay? Yeah, USA consumes more beef. And remember, in other countries, cows are considered to be gods, like in India. They worship cows. Why people afraid science? It's better than a Stone Age. Now, I agree. Now, I think it's okay to have technology, but technology shouldn't hinder your body. Technology should be cohesive to your health. It actually should work symbiotically with you. It should be something. Look at that beautiful spider. I see like the greenest spider. Okay. I see like the most beautiful technology that should work well with you. If technology is hindering you, if it is causing health issues, I mean, listen, we're talking about not technology that's working with humanity. We're talking about technology that's hijacking your brain. That isn't cohesive. Okay. It's supposed to be working with us. allowing us to have more ease, okay? Also, we got to take in consideration that most of our body is water. So if we're having electrical pulses or things that are basically spiking or making our bodies less geometrically sound, it's going to cause for more diseases to pop up. Okay, so that's all I'm saying. So like I said, family, I personally think that when I stated what I showed, when I shared with you with with veganism being promoted because of the nanobots, Nipsey all of a sudden was X-made. And again, it is all relative, because remember, I'm connected to the brown community, and they know it's very small niche of us, and we tend to be very hive-minded, brown people, because it's such a small niche in the States. So when they do something to one, it affects the whole hive. They do that purposefully. And because I'm sharing intel telling you veganism isn't what it was intended to be, and be careful keeping your body so alkaline that you're going to be susceptible to mind control, it's just interesting that all of a sudden they took out a figure that was starting to bring Dr. Sebi back to light. And obviously, if he would have brought Dr. Sebi back to light, you would have figured out that he wasn't a vegan either. So that's why I say they bring up, because they know that the thought of veganism is connected to Dr. Sebi. But Dr. Sebi was an herbalist. He was a naturopathic person. Okay? Many American foods are made in China. Oh, and that's another thing. Thank you for that. American foods are made in China. And not only just American foods, there's a new thing. I just found out about Wish. All of your products are coming from China now. There's a place called Wish. All of the advertisements on FB, you know, when you go on FB and you see like these... I get caught up all the time, because obviously the AI knows what I desire. And also, whatever's in your, what is it considered to be your, what is it called again? It's reading your rhythmic, what is it called again? Your rhythmic, you guys know what the word is, your rhythmic patterns online. So when you're looking at things online, it kind of becomes part of the algorithm. Thank you. Thank you, Corey. Algorithm. Okay, so it becomes part of your algorithm. They also read and imprint things on your, advertisements in your algorithm. Thank you, everyone. And what happens is that, when I'm looking at stuff on FB, I'll see like an advertisement, something that I really, really, desire. And I look at it, open it up, where it's coming from. It's all coming from China. Almost last vendor that you're looking at online is coming from China. All of a sudden, everything's coming from China. Everything. You think that's by chance? And you really gonna think that they're gonna demonize China. This is how I say how dirty they are. They're gonna demonize China, make it seem like they're enemies to China, but meanwhile they're letting Chinese in here in the droves. But President Trump is trying to stop it. But remember, the government has always been privy to this. So they are going to demonize the people that they're letting come in here, and then they're gonna act like it's we're being taken over. They're going to act like they're victims, when meanwhile they're the people who perpetuated this type of takeover. It's crazy. Clothes that never fit. Thank you, White Rabbit. That's true. I bought this, I'm a thickums, and hopefully I'll be less thick soon enough. But yeah, you buy stuff. Remember, the Asian women they're small people, very petite people. Even when they're a little fluffier, they're very petite, meaning their bone structure is a lot more smaller in width and so on. So when you'll buy something like a large, it'll be like size small for them. I remember buying a brassiere. I'll never do it again, but I bought this really cute like it wasn't like a brassiere, it's like one of those little, I don't know what you call it. It's like a little cute little, you tie it in the middle. It was my size. It came, I couldn't fit one part of my my front in it. Not even one. I put it on. I felt like a pervert. I won't do it again. Like a halter. Yeah, it's like a cute little thing. It was so cute. Like a little halter top. I couldn't fit one of my tetas in there. I didn't even have you can't even return it because it's from China. You gotta, I just use it as a duster. I couldn't return it. It was so funny. I was excited. I was like, oh, the package. It looked like something like a toy doll could wear. I was like, whose tetas are that small? I mean, I'm just saying, I got it the size that I wanted. I was like, there's no way this size could have been that size. It's so funny. I'm sorry. That's too much information. It was funny though. I still have it as a duster. I use it as a duster. It was such a pretty thing too. And I didn't, and you know what's bad? I didn't have girlfriends to give it to because nobody's not even nobody could fit in it. Funny. Okay, family. AI is done. Use it as an eye patch. You're right. Oh my gosh. Use it as an eye patch. Can you imagine? I look crazy. Anyway, family. Yes, China represents the dragon, Brenda. Absolutely correct. So, no mass shootings in China. Oh, no mass shootings in China or India. Ever wonder why? Spirit, tell us why. Spirit. Yeah, tell us why. Repurpose bra. I want to hear what Spirit has to say. Spirit. China is not a communist country since the 1980s. I don't have a problem with China. I have a problem with the oh yes, Nick Cannon is taking over the project. Now look at that. You think Nick Cannon, who's a comedian, could take over something like that? Nick Cannon isn't very conscious. I mean, I know he's down with the Moors. He likes to wear the headpiece. I personally don't think he should be somebody. I think the person who should take over the project should be somebody connected to that type of world. But whatever it is. I think it was all a lie. I personally, if you want to ask my opinion, I'm waiting for Spirit. Did Spirit answer yet? Spirit, you're going to leave us in suspense? China doesn't make D cups. Darn Skippy, they don't. The stomach is naturally acidic. It has HCl. It requires to digest. It required to digest, break down the food in your skin and acidic too, so in your blood. I agree, Spirit. You're absolutely correct. But Spirit, you said, why aren't there any mass shootings in China or India? I wanted to hear your opinion on that. Okay, I'll wait until I wanted to hear what Spirit had to say about that. My squirrels. I said my squirrels. My squirrels are looking at me right now. They're playing. Don't they not allow weapons? This is what I'm going to say about Nipsey. Nick Cannon is taken over by the industry. He's part of the Satanist sects too. Listen, I don't trust Satanists and Luciferians for anything for the betterment of nature. Remember, it's do as thou will. They're very Aleister Crowley-ish. I trust zero people who Aleister Crowley-ish. Do as thou will. Anybody who's down with just doing as thou will, I just, I look at them side eye. It's just, I personally think he was martyred. I don't know that he's actually dead. Remember, me and Mr. Corey did the whole show talking about them taking someone out, because if you listen, if it wasn't by his numbers, if I didn't see a ritual with the number with the 33, the 6 shots, I would think that he was actually it was accidentally done. And and then a few people were saying that oh, wait, hold on. I know I'm going to sidebar because I want to read Spirit's comment. Fruits break down faster in the digestive tract. Vegetables take longer. Should eat them separately. Here in the U.S., buffets eat everything at one time. Buffets are a detriment to your mental state. That's like gluttony times 10. You're absolutely right. I don't mix the two. If I eat veggies, I don't mix fruits with them. I think as Caribbeans, I don't know many Caribbeans people who do that. It could just be an island thing. I don't know. We don't necessarily we didn't do that in my house. Like even when I serve for my little ones, if I say fruit on their dish, there isn't any veggies anywhere near. So I don't. That's what. No, I don't. Oh, you're Kay. You know what, Kay? You're right. I do. I drink that. You know, my favorite smoothie is with the kale, the pineapple, the ginger, the mango. Oh, and the lemon water. Oh, Kay, you're right. Thank you, Kay. You reminded me because I mix those sometimes. You're right with the smoothies. I don't normally do. Oh, you know what? Thank you for that. Thank you. I realize that I do that every once in a while with the veggie smoothies. I love this green smoothie. It is God. This drink. Oh, I love it. But thank you for that because it probably does something. The two together mixed. I don't do it very often, but I love. That's my favorite smoothie in the whole wide world. I'm only saying because I do smoothies as well. You do too, Kate? I love that smoothie. In China, if you break the law, they send you to reform school, aka place where you are reconditioned into what the rules are. Oh yes, thank you, Spirit. Okay, so Spirit has denoted the hive mentality of the people in China. They're very uniformed. If someone breaks the law, they go and get reconditioned, which is just AKA for more mind control, for imprinting certain agendas on them mentally, probably using technology to allow it to do this, probably put repetitive lights and all kinds of hypnotic things. That's what they do. Absolutely. They are the state the poster children of mind control over there. So that's why you shouldn't be surprised that AI is showing up in the States at the same time. Hold on, my ex-Nazis texting me at the same time. I make antioxidant smoothies, broccoli sprouts. Way prouder. Okay, I know we're going on a tangent. Let me focus. Okay, let me focus. Let me focus and get back to what I was saying. Um, okay, I want to get back to Nipsey. It's all interrelated. I really don't like making videos that are so mixed. I want to make separate videos, but I'm not a compartmentalist. I had to say this to someone the other day. I was like, I'm not a compartmentalist. I can't, for some reason, if I talk on a subject and it goes into other things, I think it's more natural than to stay specifically too stringent on something. I could stay on topic, but I feel like everything's intertwining. It's all intermingled. So I personally think that the whole Nipsey thing was coming at the time to promote more veganism, which is crazy because Dr. Sebi wasn't a vegan. But I feel like there's a propellant. And also, I noticed that people who were promoting it, who were saying that you should be more vegan after he passed away, it makes me think that they're agenda based. Listen, family, this is what I'm going to say to you. I took off all of my crystals. Listen, I'm about this life. If I feel like something's been taken over until I can clear it or clarify it, I'm going to put it somewhere where I need to visually see that it's okay. I've taken off all my crystals. I have basically I don't live a vegan lifestyle like that. I'm going on and off. So I'm not concerned about the eating. I get the purging of the nanobots out of me. I'm not concerned about I'm concerned about shedding my fluff. Yes. That I'm concerned about. But as far as vegan lifestyle, I live harmoniously with what I eat. I tend to eat later. That's why I get fluffy. Because people always say, how do you be a vegetarian and vegan, be fluffy? I eat. And I eat late sometimes too, which isn't good. And it isn't good for your metabolism. But I do work out. So adding the workout does help to speed up my metabolism. So for anyone who wants to know about that. But I put away the crystals. I won't be wearing crystals for a while. I want to see how it changes me because we think that crystals have been hijacked. I don't think all of them, because I've been doing crystals for so many years. I just took them all. I buried them. I buried all my crystals. Okay. I put them back in the soil. Okay. I buried my crystals. I put them outside and I'm just going to see how I feel. I'm just returning back to more of a jungle type of theme. So I'm doing obviously fruit. I love fruits. I'm more of a fruitarian, if anything. I like fruits. Occasionally I do I told you I do brown eggs every once in a while if I feel like I'm low. Now it's, and my body will tell me if I require it. So it's not a big deal for me. You know, I'm not a farm meat person. Remember, I am raising flexitarians though. So with my little ones, people ask me about my little ones. They have more vegan and vegetarian type of, obviously because I'm their mother, so they have that in them from drinking green smoothies when they were little, things like that. But I do add certain things in their system to make sure that they have all. Remember, I also have my grandchildren inside of my daughters, so I also understand that the way that I nurture my daughters, I'm also raising my grandchildren inside of them. So I make sure that I give them all the necessary enzymes and things required, for so that my grandchildren are also healthy. Okay, so I love Good Karma. I'm not a cow's milk person. Good Karma is really good. It's flaxseed milk, and hemp milk is good. Some people don't like the taste of hemp milk. I like flaxseed. Flaxseed is really good. My little ones love the flaxseed. Okay, so flaxseed. Because people ask, what do I give my children as flexitarians? I said occasionally, once in a while, they'll have buffalo. I've talked about the native. Remember, their father was mostly Cherokee and Blackfoot. He comes from that tribe. So I give them buffalo. We don't have access to venison here. They do occasional fish, and I don't do fish that collect metals. So I'll do grouper every once in a while. Also, oh, what is it? Not flounder. Is it flounder? I think it's flounder. Flounder. I do fish that don't hold on to metals because I'm aware that certain fish hold on to metals. What else? I do goat for them every once in a while, and lamb. Okay, so those are the things that I add into my children's staple. Buffalo. Yeah, venison and buffalo. That's, also I know where their family, I love that I know their family genetics, including their mothers, because I'm mixed with the indigenous of Central and South America along with the Caribbean. So I know my genetics and I know my ex's genetics. So I know how to feed them and I know it does well with them. Okay. So venison is something that some people, and they're demonizing people now who are hunting. Now that they know that, listen, family, every time we learn something new, they hijack it. They know the direction. That's anytime they start promoting, when they started promoting marijuana and legalizing it, you already know it had been taken over. You should know that. As soon as they started to legalize marijuana, they already took it over. Okay, so unless you had heirloom seeds, unless you were able to get non-homogenized chief, there wasn't any herb that you had that wasn't going to be basically taken over by them. Okay. When they started promoting veganism, you knew something was wrong. Why is it that the heightened amount of corporate entities, who is it? Kiki mentioned them. They had taken over vegan meat. So why is it that all these corporations now are putting all their resources into vegan? Because they already hijacked it. So all of those mock meats, all of those things that they're promoting to you, they've already taken it over. The only thing that you can do, if you want to remain a vegan, a healthy vegan, if that's what you want to remain for your peace of mind, you love the animals, you don't want to hurt the plants, be a fruitarian. That is my suggestion to you. And start to make sure you add things and make sure you're making sure your body is healthy in that way. I would say be more of a fruitarian. That would be the best bet. If you want to be harmonic with nature, if you want to be healthy and you want to continue being a vegan, I would suggest you be more of a fruitarianism. I think it's healthier. I think your body will be happier. Just be careful. Yeah, fruits with seeds, please only consume if it's coming from a tree and it's a healthy tree that hasn't been homogenized. It should be a fruitful tree. Okay, trees make fruitful people. If you eat something that's seedless, you become seedless. Okay, just remember that you become soulless because seeds are souls. Okay, so seedless fruit stimulates seedless people. Okay, too much fruit. Now I'm not saying you should eat fruit like a crazy person. I'm saying eat fruit with balance. I'm saying being a fruitarianism doesn't mean that you're only consuming fruit without anything like you should be highly drinking healthy waters. Okay, having fruit that's not highly that's balanced. Okay, if you're going to eat fruit, obviously fruitarianism allows for certain I know some people eat the nuts. Sometimes they eat the nuts and things like that. Okay. So try it, see how you feel. Okay. Some people process eating fruitarianism a little easier depending on their family. Now, if your ancestors lived somewhere where there's a lot of fruit, that will be more cohesive to your body. Okay. People who come from the Caribbean or from the islands of like Hawaiian Islands, the Polynesian Islands, parts of the outskirts of Venice, Central and South America, they haven't a problem consuming fruits to a heightened degree. And it doesn't, remember when I went home to my island, the only thing, well, they're French too. So they had coffee in the morning. We cut fruit, tamarind trees. We had tamarind trees. We had mango trees and coconut. So we would cut down the tamarind. We would have that during the day. And occasionally, with the family at night, they would have fish. They didn't eat meat. Meat is like an extra on the islands. Not many people eat a lot of meat on the islands. Okay. So mostly they'll have like, they'll have breads. The French eat a lot of, baguettes, long baguettes, in my island. And I tell you, I was probably the healthiest. I would have fruit in the morning with coffee, because that's what they did. I have fruit in the morning with coffee, which kind of balanced itself out. They'd have fresh breads, but also at the time, did I have fish? No, I wouldn't touch the fish. I think I was practicing as a fruitarianism. I went through so many times where I wouldn't even touch anything. What was that with my eldest? Okay, so I probably just had fruit. Oh, and we had a lot of great things, other like nut milks and things like that there. And I was fine. My hair was beautiful. My skin was illuminated, and I was healthier than probably I'd ever been in the States. When I go back home, I'm healthier than in the States. When I come to the States, I fluff up. When I'm home, I'm actually a healthy weight. My skin and my hair illuminate, and I actually feel better. Here in the States, I feel a little ill. So it's a little different. Okay. So I would say follow your mind and follow your body's mind, your body talk. Listen to your body. But I think obviously you need to be balanced. Moringa is very good. I love moringa tea. Oh, I make the moringa tea. Ooh, and a soursop tea. Oh, I love soursop. And remember, okay, another thing, for those who are real fruit eaters from the islands, from being from the islands, our fruit isn't sweet. Our fruits are more bitter. Okay, so let me keep that. I forgot to mention that. When you're actually fruitarian, if you're eating from the islands, our fruit, all these homogenized fruit have been kicked up the sugar, the sucrose. In our islands, our oranges are not sweet, they're bitter. A lot of our fruits, the bananas that have seeds in our islands are not sweet. They have a nice soft sweetness to them, but they're not sweet. A lot of the sugars, or the way that they've homogenized a lot of the oranges and the fruit here, heighten up the sugar. In the islands, your fruit aren't sweet like that. They're more bitter based. So when you're eating things in the islands or in Central and South America, you'll notice that it's not very sweet. It's more bitter. And bitters are good for getting parasites. That's why a lot of people don't have parasites there. Okay, so that's just the truth. The truth of the matter. Everything that they do in the US, they basically homogenize all the food. Fruits are not meant to be sweet like that. Fruits are meant to have a nice, robust taste. They're very good taste, but they also are not meant to be super, super sweet. Okay, I know we have all the healthy people on here. I say enjoy you. I love bitter. I grew up, because maybe it's because I grew up eating all the bitters. Like tamarind is a sweet bitterness to it. The oranges we have, well, obviously our oranges are green with orange inside, but they're bitter. We have our tamarind is bitter. What else we have? What else we have? Papaya. Papaya is not really sweet. Our mangoes aren't super, super sweet. They're kind of bitter. They have a little bit of a sour, not bitter, sour taste to them, like sweet and sour. Anyway, I know I've gone on a tangent. We've gone on AI, bitter melon. Yeah. We've gone on AI. We've gone on the Chinese. We've gone on food, Dr. Sebi. All I'm saying, family, is please, please, please. The AI is here. They're interacting. We're interacting with you. And coffee isn't negative. The issue is how they process the coffee. Let me just state that. In in most other places, even in California, I think some people do it. My sister-in-law dries her coffee beans. She grows coffee, so she dries them. So whenever I go to her house, she gives me some dried coffee beans. You can dry coffee beans. You don't have to process them and put them through like a whole a synthetic type of processing. You can dry coffee beans and actually create it that way. Okay, so that, just to say coffee in itself is a negative. Everything in balance is healthy, but if you make it in a more natural way, obviously it's good for you. Just like I don't tell you that marijuana is bad for you. I say that you shouldn't change its molecular structure. In the islands, they drink it with tea. It's as a tea. You steep it like you do a tea bag, okay? Or you put it in lotions for your arthritis or for pain. So that's it. When you start changing things and pasteurizing, juices, and also, even for the babies, one of the things, someone said free weed. One of the things we were talking about for the babies, for the little ones, I'm a fan of I used to make my own foods for the little ones, from pureeing my own fruits. But remember, giving them fruit juices, why fruit juices aren't good for your little ones in heightened degrees, because it's too much sugar, because it's too many fruits. If you give your baby one fruit, she won't eat the whole thing. She may eat half an orange, or she'll eat half an apple or a whole apple. That's one fruit. When you give them fruit juices, it's 20 fruit in one juice. It's 20 apples in one juice. It's 20 oranges in one juice. That's why people who have diabetes, in order to spike their sugar up, they have to take a sip of that, because it's hyper in sugar. It's heightened in sugar. Be mindful of that. Give the babies more fruit. I prefer, a lot of times, I don't do fruit juices like that. I do Honest Kids, which is mostly water based. There isn't a lot of fruit. But when I want the little ones to have fruit, I put fruit in front of them. I don't give them fruit juices. I give them fruit. So I'll buy, they don't get the oranges that give them mango. One has a problem with mango. Pineapple in front of them. I'll slice pineapples up. They love the berries. Berries you got to be careful with, but they like strawberries. Raspberries is what I used to grow. I had a third of an acre of raspberries. They love raspberries, but we know about real raspberries, so it's hard to pick raspberries because I was used to them being so fresh. Raspberries are really good. Oh, I haven't heard from Aluna. I'm gonna hit her up. Thank you for reminding me. They're having probably a good time over there. Remember, they're in full-on conference mode. They're having a good time in Hawaii. I'll hit her up tonight and see how she's doing. And I know that CBD oil, is that marijuana oil? Okay. Make your own things. Make everything yourself. The wonderful thing about being part of this consciousness is you can make everything. You can make everything. Somebody was worrying about turmeric. Turmeric is really good. Turmeric, you grow the roots. Whenever I have turmeric, I grow the roots. I grow my own ginger. I grow my own turmeric. You take the turmeric and you steep it in a tea. You don't have to buy the tea. You can make your own turmeric. Everything that you desire that's good for you, you can make. Everything. You can grow it. It's so easy. Actually, roots, ginger and turmeric are very easy to grow. They grow basically like weeds. It's actually cool to see them grow. Okay, so you can grow these things and you can steep them and make them yourself. Moringa is a wild weed. For anyone who's living in a warm region, here in Florida, you can go in people's yards and there's moringa all over their yards. You can grow moringa like weeds. You can put moringa outside your house and grow it yourself. Okay? You can grow most of the things, even in the cooler regions. This is your seeding season. Right now, it's spring for you guys. You can grow mostly everything. Okay, grow everything. And then you can make your own tinctures and oils yourself. If you keep relying on outsiders, like we don't even know how to make our own shoes. We don't even know how to make our own furniture. There used to be a time, well, the mate, who I was mating with, why I fell in love with my mate was that he can build a house from, it's so attractive to meet a man who can just build a house from scratch. He could build anything. He could put anything together. The most attractive thing for someone who, well, for me at least, I won't speak for everyone, is someone who can build anything from their hands. And what he found the most attractive about me was that I can make anything, I can grow anything, and I can create anything with my hands. So what I'm attracted to with him being able to build everything and be able to conceptualize something and create it. He can create anything. Shoes, he's just everything. I can create any herb. I can grow anything. I can make anything. When I make raw food, I can make and mock anything. He loves that. That's attractive. That he finds that sexy about me. And I think that's healthy. That's a healthy way to pick your mate. Pick a mate that's masterful at creating something or everything. You know what I mean? Create children that are able to be creative like that. You know what I mean? A lot of men who work with their hands are looked down upon, but in the next cycle, those corporate button pushers, they're not going to be able to even build a tarp for you. You know, it's I'm not dissing. Listen, I big up to our corporate family. I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying in the next cycle, the men who you may want to choose for mating, or females for mating with, you want to make sure they're naturopathic or they're creative as far as they can build things, they can fix things. You know, just think. Somebody asked about pain. Ashwagandha. Whoever's having pain. If you're having pain, depending on what kind of pain, is there arthritic pain? Ashwagandha, I'll take down the notch. A tincture form, wild crafted ashwagandha. A lot of the athletes, I would recommend that for them. So if you can get ashwagandha wild crafted, ashwagandha tincture form, it'll make you feel better. Okay, that's a way of getting rid of pain. Turmeric is anti-inflammatory. If you grow your own turmeric and don't buy the powder, what I would do is also get turmeric and soak it. Soak the turmeric in teas. Don't make it too hot because you don't want to destroy it. That's why I tell you I'm not a fan of chiefing, because chiefing, anytime you change the molecular structure of something, you burn it, you change the molecular structure, and no longer. That's why I tell you microwaving is a demon. You know, it kills everything. Pasteurizing kills everything. You want to keep the enzymes and you want to keep the actual residue. You're just breaking it down a little bit so you can consume it. So having something, or if you don't want to even warm it up, what I like to do is turmeric. If you have, you know, if you live in a warmer region or not, you could put it in a windowsill, put a little piece of turmeric in a cup of water, nice clean water, put it on the windowsill and let it steep like that for 2 days. And then you have turmeric tea. Okay, that's actually better for you than the powder you buy. Okay, so you can create everything. I'd like to see you with Lance Scurv. He introduced Renata, and he introduced the bus driver in Orlando. Shares your passion for the truth. Oh, I love it, Brenda. Thank you. The sun is your oven. You know, I remember someone asked, because I don't microwave. I haven't used a microwave. Listen, and I could say this to you and everybody can support it. See, I'm about this life. I haven't used a microwave in 10 years. It might be close to 12. I'm being generous. I'm being less than generous. I haven't used a microwave in 10 years. It might be more. Okay? There are people around me who use microwaves. My children aren't allowed to use microwaves. And when they go to their grandmother's house, they already know that isn't something their grandmother knows, you know, because other people like to use microwaves. I haven't used a microwave. Nucleifying your food is detrimental to your health. If you think that putting radiation in your food, radiating your food is good for you, I question your sanity. Okay? Good. Patrice says she doesn't even own a microwave. Just having a microwave being used in your house is detrimental to your health. Can you use weed without heating it up? Yes, you can. Yes. I said that you can soak marijuana in water, and you can put it outside and let it just warm because it breaks down a little bit, and then you can drink it as a tea. Okay. Or like I used to do, some people steep it in oil. So you can take a base oil, something that's not very, that allows for it to go and seep in. I know that some people use it in palm oil. I'm not a fan of palm oil. I don't use the red palm oil. Sometimes the islanders do that. I'm not a fan of palm because palm can cause problems. More like you can use it. You could soak it in like a grapeseed oil. Some of you, if you're not adverse to olive oil, cold pressed. I'm a fan of avocado oil for now. Some of the other pressed oils, you can actually make your own oils with the actual marijuana and let it steep for like over a month. Okay. Especially the seeds. The seeds they soak in overproof rum. In the Caribbean, that's what got rid of fevers. It was my ex's great aunt. She was like almost 100. Her name was my nickname, Della. So Dell, I was really sick. I think I told you this story. I was really, really sick. I had a fever. And, I come from my mom will take me to the doctor, but, at the time it was nighttime. And Della came over our house. She had overproof rum with seeds that had been sitting there for years. I think it was over 10 to 15 years. I don't even know. And the marijuana seeds sitting in the back. She put it on my feet and my forehead. She said I would see white men, lunar men. And I hallucinated lunar men. My fever broke within 24 hours. It's crazy, right? She said I would see lunar men. She said I would see lunar men. I don't know why. It's a hallucination that comes with it. Yeah, she put it on my forehead and my feet. And the fever broke within, it broke within 24 hours completely, but I'm saying within the next 2 or 3 hours, the fever started to break. Okay, it was interesting. I know how to make vegan weed brownies. I know you do, Jose. I mean, you can cook with it. You can cook with that. I prefer you do things with marijuana rather than chiefing. Chiefing is like a drug. You change a molecular structure. It isn't marijuana anymore. And that's why I say you make it in teas, you make it in lotions, you make it like that. You can put it in food. It's healthier for you. Not like they do those places. I told you they gave me some Colorado candy. I didn't know it was a drug like that. They gave it to me in members a piece of chocolate, and made me high for 5 hours, and I wanted to get out of it. That was abusive. You don't do that to someone, especially as clean as my endocrine system is. They didn't know it would do that to me, but I'm drug free. You can't give someone Colorado candy. She said, "You want a piece of chocolate?" And we're going out. And I'm dressed in a costume. I was dancing on a thing, but I wanted to get out of it. I couldn't even get out of it. That's what they're doing to your marijuana. They're making it into a drug. You shouldn't even touch it. Oh, there's a book called China Rules the World. Check this book, When China Rules the World by Martin Jacquez. Thank you, Pavel. Uh-oh. If I read that book, you might get other videos. I am drug and alcohol free too. YouTube fairy magic, yeah, it's unnecessary. I think, for a while, I think people utilize, we're living in a culture, like even when I went to Whole Foods is absolutely, I only go there for 1 or 2 things now because those are places that I can only get, and then I go to my mom and pop's local stores, holistic stores. But when any holistic place starts selling alcohol, that's how I know it's been taken over. Oh yes, Valerie. My friends used to love to come over to my garden. I love gardening. Whenever I'm pregnant, I'm always in the garden. I love being in the soil. The fairies love when I'm pregnant. They do. They love when I'm pregnant. I'm in the garden with the little ones. It's so much fun. They love playing, and if you could feel the fairy energy. I love being in. I love growing things. I can teach you how to be a messy gardener. I can teach you how to do a raised bed. I can tell you how to do a solarium verse garden. I can teach you how to do a rooftop garden. I love it. I gardening and dancing and other things. I can't say. Gardening, dancing, and other things. Is my zen. Dancing makes me feel like I'm in heaven, like nirvana. When I dance, I'm in another world. I love dancing and I love gardening. I love putting my hands in the soil. And when my little ones are outside, there isn't any time I don't mind them being in the soil. They like to dig around. They made a fairy thing on a tree, on a master tree, and the fairies like it. I'm okay with that. You like cilantro? The only thing I've come to, I think sage has forgiven me. Remember I told you the one thing I could not sustain was sage. I must have done something in a past life to offend sage or to abuse it. Certain plants don't like you based on what your ancestors did. Now, my ex-Nazi, I will say this about my ex-Nazi. His mother and his family were crop people. Remember, they're islanders. They are absolutely, every plant loved this Nazi. Listen, I would have plants that I was trying to keep them alive. He would come in a room and the plants would love him. This is the Nazi. You know why? Because his lineage, they remembered his lineage. He came from people who used to plant. They're Native Americans. The plants loved him. Oh my God, if I wanted something to thrive, I would tell him to come in and just work. The plants, they loved him. And this is crazy. As much as he was anti me, Every plant loved him, and animals loved him. No, not all animals, because he was a little heinous, but the plants loved him, and it's because of his lineage. That's why I say plants are sentient, and they remember you through generations. They know who you are more than you know who you are. I thought it was amazing. I tell that Nazi all the time, you know, because sometimes he has to be told about himself, especially when he's being toxic. But I tell that Nazi all the time, you absolutely, my plants loved you. There was only one tree that didn't like him, and it's because he was talking about cutting the tree down because it dropped so many leaves. That's the only plant that didn't like him, but everything liked him. Anyway, I know I'm going off topic. Anyway, family, so I hope this was helpful. Um, how do you reheat food without microwave? Oh, okay, so for those who say, how do I reheat food? I'm a fan. I take things out of the fridge and leave them out all day. So if I'm having, let's say I rarely have leftovers. I'm not a big leftover person because my little ones don't eat that much, and I'm not a big eater. I just eat late. I put everything out on top of the stove, just sitting all day. Like, I use glass so things heat up easier as far as air is concerned. So rather than reheating, I leave things out. So if I know that I'm going to have something later in the day and I made something, I'll leave it on top of the stove, covered, obviously, covered, and I leave it out. And by the time we go to it, it'll be somewhat warm. That's how I usually do things. Or you can use an oven, okay? An oven side. But if I don't want to do that, I just leave it on top of the stove and let it warm up to room temperature. Okay, I drink my water room temperature. Yeah, things like that. When I go to the sanctuary, this is when you're going to see me thrive, family, because I'm really making it a point to try to bring myself back to my farm. Because I really appreciate Florida because I can grow citruses, but I'm excited to be able to start the sanctuary somewhere where now when I'm at the sanctuary, you will see me grow everything. I love growing. Oh, it's where I belong, is on a farm. So when I get to the sanctuary and I start growing, I'll make sure that I promote that, and you'll see that, and I'll teach everybody to do it, because I think you should all do it. The babies should do it. I'll teach you how to have the little ones do their own little garden, their little fairy gardens. It would be amazing. I'm looking forward to that. So hopefully that'll happen sooner than later. I really want to do that to the point where I'm ready to start to move forward. The Chinese are here, and they're not very empathetic. So just know that the AI is here. Be proactive in keeping yourself healthy. Start to write down things on paper. I love that Kiki said that. Start to write your memories on paper. Don't share everything. Don't share everything. Oh, Lamb G asked the best deodorant. I make my own deodorant, which is baking soda. I'm not a fan of coconut oil anymore because it bothers me. So I add like avocado oil to it and I mix it around. That's it. I mix it around. If I want a little tangerine smell to it or a key lime smell to it, I put a little lime in it and I mix it around, and it lasts for like, I can make a little thing like this and it'll last for like a year. And that keeps me smelling like a goddess. And I smell like a goddess. Yeah. So long as I have access to that, that's my deodorant. It costs less than $1. And the only thing that people don't like is it turns because the baking soda kind of browns your skin. They don't like that. So you can also use turmeric to lighten the skin underneath your underarms. So for as much as I use that, I use turmeric. Like if I start getting dark underneath my underarms because I'm using the baking soda, because baking soda can chafe you a little bit, make you, it turns your underarms dark. I use turmeric and I wipe it underneath my arms and keep it there with a little lemon. And I can wipe it off with like a little dry cloth, and it kind of lightens up your underarms again. So that's what I use. Okay, with the little ones, they don't like it as much because it bothers them underneath their arms. So I found a couple of different ones. Oh gosh, I forgot the name of the other one I use for them. It works. Be careful, because when the little ones have to start using deodorant because their pheromones are coming online, you may notice that biochemically you have to wait until they take to the deodorant. So you might have to try a couple others. Oh, coconut and arrowroot. That's good. Mystical Cat has a good one. And a little baking soda. Oh, I like that. I'm going to add that. Thank you for that. I love that. Otherwise, I get a rash. Ah, the arrowroot. Yes, because it settles. Thank you. Mystical Cat gave us a great additive to that. Thank you. Arrowroot. Oh, Joko. You know what? Thank you. This is why we talk to one another. I didn't realize that. Thank you. I'm going to add arrowroot. Ah, that was all I needed. Is the missing magical ingredient was our arrowroot. We put in our, I put in teas and stuff. That's another Caribbean, herb. But thank you for that. So I'm going to take arrowroot and add it to it. I'm going to do that when I get home. Thank you. So anyway, family, I guess we're going to, oh yeah, turmeric. Be careful. Turmeric is how they make curry. Turmeric is the main ingredient of curry. If you do that on your underarms, you gotta wipe it off. I just use it and then I scrub it off. I don't leave it on my underarms because it'll stain your clothes. You don't want to leave. You don't want to leave. You don't want to leave turmeric or any curry anywhere. Yeah, it stains everything. You use it underneath your underarms just to lighten it, and then you take it off. You wash it off. You don't leave it on there. Yeah. The rain, you hear the rain? Yeah. It's beautiful. I want to stay home and read a book today. I actually have to go out and do errands. All right, family. I hope this was helpful. I know we went all kinds of sidebar. Many of you are used to it already. I just one day I'll focus a little bit, maybe later. When I'm a little more seasoned than I am now. Anyway, so I hope this was helpful. Again, if you're going to eat, and just be mindful that there's an agenda. Anything that's being propaganda to you is an agenda. Know that there's a reason for it. And with AI, I don't tell you things to be paranoid, but what I tell you is to be proactive. So if you know that veganism and being hyper alkaline is an issue and you want to stay a vegan, then why don't you put a blue thing over your phone, an anti-blue screen on your phone? Why don't you make sure that you are putting a little bit something on top of your skin to make it less permissible for chemtrail infiltration? Why don't you make sure that you're claying and, oh, I had a dream about a mud bath. I don't want to make a... I just had a dream. I just got triggered from a dream. I had a mud bath. Taking mud baths and claying. I clay once. Now I'm going to clay twice a month. Make sure you're claying and make sure you're doing things like that. You don't necessarily have to change something. You just have to be proactive in making sure that if inception is an issue, that you make sure you do something to counter it. That's all. The anti-blue screen is it possible to make a blue screen? All your phones have blue light on it. That's what's helping to replicate the nanobots underneath your skin with the nanotechnology. I have an anti-blue screen on all of my little ones. I have diodes on all our phones. I also use things to mute the little things on top of me to mute anything. Bentonite clay. I clay everything. I clay from the rooter to the tutor. I would do that live, but I will get arrested. My partner, my ex-partner used to do it for me. So I do it myself. But if you have a mate who's really savvy and it's kind of sultry, my clay is great for your hair. Okay. It makes your hair really soft and it clears your scalp. So I clay from top, everywhere, underneath my underarms, my tatas, everything. And then I lie outside, bucket, goddess naked, and allow it to dry. And when it dries and gets nice and crisp, it pulls everything out of you. Then you can rinse it off with like a nice water. If you're outside, you can rinse it off, with a nice hose or something like that. If you're by the beach, you can rinse it off in the beautiful salt water, which is even better. Places like in my island, Martinique, clothing is optional. So like in places like Martinique, I would probably do that more full on without care that people see you without clothing, because nobody wears clothing like that. Okay, but if you have a pool, I wouldn't do it with a pool unless you have a saline pool. If you have a saltwater pool, that's fine. If you have a, even my pool, I have to convert my pool to saline because it's still chlorine, and chlorine isn't good for you. So if you're doing claying, just go in your shower with your own filter and just rinse it all off. Okay. How do you get an anti-blue screen? Go on to Amazon. Put anti-blue screen and you'll see them pop up. They're inexpensive, like $9. Put them on your phone so you're not replicating. Okay. Wow, thanks. I used to avoid clay on my hair. No, clay is phenomenal for your hair. You wonder how some of these indigenous women look beautiful and had healthy hairs because they clayed and they didn't have parasites. Parasites is something with that does something to the outer layer of your skin, because remember, your skin is your largest organ. So when you keep your skin pores clear, It actually makes for you to be more conducive. Diodes you can buy online. I think I posted the actual, I'll probably post it on my Instagram. Go to my Instagram, I'll post the link to the place. They stopped selling the transmutation boards because I think you guys bought them out, or the Japanese did. Nobody can buy the transmutation boards anymore. They stopped selling them. So I was kind of bummed out because I wanted to order another one. Is gay marriage bad? Gay marriage isn't as bad as Jasmine. Thank you very much. I appreciate it, Jasmine. I appreciate it. Gay marriage is what you think of it. You know, if someone loves each other, it's all good in the hood. As long as they're not beating up on each other and harming each other and doing heinous things, marriage is. I told you. I may even get married next year in 2020. I may do it for the love of my partner. I may. I have moments where I just want to be free as a bird. I'm not a fan of monogamy or polygamy, so you know that might be. But when you're bonded with someone, it's so beautiful. Partnership is so amazing. It's I love healthy partnerships. I love being in a union that's healthy, that's thriving. It's beautiful. So, oh, thank you, Nirvana. Thank you. I love partnership. If you want to be married to the same sex, then get married to the same sex. As long as they treat you well, nothing is bad. It's all judgment. You know, if I said it was bad, it would be a judgment. It wouldn't be correct. For the women, the best of oil for the skin is actually better than coconut oil is tallow. Yes, you can mix with coconut oil, almond oil. Ooh, see, listen, you have these sea stars. Like Spirit's giving you advice here too. Look at all these masterful sea stars. You can do a cultural. Yeah, I was married on a beach before, which I loved because I wanted to get married on a beach. I want to get married to my partner in the jungle with drums, because I didn't have my steel drums for my last wedding and I was upset because they canceled. I love steel drums, and that's very Caribbean based. I know I talk about being an islander. That was something I really, really loved. I wanted to have a steel pan. It's called steel pan or steel drums. I love the sound of steel drums, and it was one of the things that I wanted for my wedding that I didn't get. So for my next partner, I definitely want steel drums. I want drums. I want to be wearing flowers on my body. I'm going to be nature based. I'm going to love it. I love being in love. I love partnership, healthy partnerships. I do. I love divine unions. I do. It's wonderful when you meet a partner that matches you energetic wise. It's nice. It's nice if it can hold for a while. Look at this dude. No, I'm not hell bent on staying with someone past the expiration date. That's where I'm not a fan of monogamy. I think sometimes we stay in relationships way too long. I did the church the first time. Yeah, never again. Yeah, get married. Marriage is not really, the paperwork is not what I love the unity. I love the ceremony. It's beautiful. I love doing it the first time. I married a Nazi. He loves me. He still loves me, but it wasn't righteous. It was okay at the time because I guess that's what I wanted and desired, and I'm grateful for that. But now it's something different. So when I get married again, I'll probably televise it. I'll probably televise this one. It'll be beautiful. If I decide to do it, it'll be 2020. That's when I would get married again. I'm excited to do it. Yeah, with flowers all over. I could be free. I'm gonna be in a sanctuary. I could be naked and unafraid. With all the babies, I'll probably have a baby again. Yeah, it's being beautiful. Those are the things I project. Yeah, we'll see. I'm feeling very nostalgic in the rain. Can you tell? I got pressured into marriage because I was Catholic, engaged in prego. Don't be pressured. Unions are choices. Friendships are choices, and any union is a choice. You should only be with someone who inspires you and who's whole. I think sometimes when we're younger, we choose people that. Am I a nudist? No, I'm not a nudist. I'm a naturalist. I'm not a nudist. I don't believe in walking around with your fuffing out and all that kind of. No, I love being free to just walk around like my native indigenous. I think the top is probably more so what I think is unnatural for women to wear stuff on. I would love to walk. I'm not talking about my bottom. I think that should be, that's why I don't think you should get rid of your protection down there, because it's meant to protect you. But I think it's natural for us to have our front out. A naturalist. I'm just a naturalist. Yeah. I think, if you look at any other place, the only women covering their top part are been colonized. That's a colonized type of disposition to cover this. That's why a lot of women get sick a lot of times with breast health issues, because your breast is meant to free the boobies. That's what Shannon said, free the boobies. These are meant to be out. It's supposed to be sun-kissed. When you get sun on your areoles, it works as like a solar panel. It gives you all kinds of directives. We aren't allowed that. In my island in Martinique, women don't wear bras. They're topless. And it isn't sexually explicit. Women can breastfeed their children, you know what I mean? A lot of times, that comes from colonized mindset. It isn't being a nudist, it's being a naturalist. And I'm not doing it for men online. I'm not showing you my goodies for money. I would do it to breastfeed. I would love to breastfeed and just be free. I did it with my children. No. So I'll do it where I live. You are married to a Nazi too, Ria? I'm sorry. Are you free? Did you get free for your Nazi? I appreciate my freedom. I won't ever go back. Shave your private parts. I tell you, if you want to have a man be more attractive to you, you have to leave your we call it fufun. I don't know who else calls it fufun. We call fufun. I know it's a funny name. That's a name for our hoo-ha, for your yoni. You don't shave that. You leave hair on there. Your male will be more attracted to you because you have more pheromones emitting, and he'll have more of the pheromones on him. When you shave that, you have more of and also it's perpetuating pedophilia, okay? Because the only women that don't have hair, even now, the only girls that don't have hair are prepubescent. So even 11 and 12-year or 10-year-old girl has hair starting down there. If she doesn't have hair, that's pedophilia. That's straight up like 9-8-year-old little girls that they're being attracted to. We're perpetuating pedophilia by shaving our. Now, mind you, nothing wrong with having a beautiful space down there that you want clear because you're wearing bikinis. That's something different. But for the most part, having hair down there protects your yoni from parasites and viruses. It does. Also, it keeps your hormones perpetuating. That scent, I'm not talking about a non-harmonic scent. I'm not talking about a non-hygienic scent. Your pheromones are perpetuated. The more hair you have down there, the more your mate will be more attracted to you and less likely to dip in and out of other women. Okay, that's a fact. Okay, that's a whole nother sex after hours with FleurBrun, because that's something that you need to know. Okay, the most attractive women have a hair on their yonis. Okay. Okay, you can keep it tapered or whatever, landing strips, whatever works. I bedazzled mine before. You can have fun, but I'm just telling you, if what's healthier, especially when you're pregnant, you're supposed to leave hair down there, especially when you're pregnant. You have to make sure nothing goes, that protects your yoni from anything coming inside. And also, even having sex, it also protects you from more STDs. Because the hair and STDs, as far as sexually transmitted demons and sexually transmitted diseases, what's it? Semi-dazzle, yeah. Yeah, so when you're having full-on sex with someone and you have hair down there, a lot of things are not transmitted because the hair actually works as an antenna, and it actually disinfects the wand going inside. Yeah. So, that's I'll probably do a show. I don't want to do that on YouTube though. The hair down there has a purpose. It protects the area. Absolutely, from viruses and parasites. Thank you. Yes, Spirit. Yeah. It's not just everything on your body's for a reason, just like the foreskin on a man is for a reason. People think that these things are all, remember, we're being propagandized by non-human beings and beings that promote pedophilia. So having sex with a woman who perpetually doesn't have hair down there is perpetuating pedophilia. It is. That's all it is. Okay? It isn't right to do that all the time. Okay? And you wonder why men have a liking to very, very young women, because you're kind of promoting that. you know, because there isn't any grown woman, even a young girl has hair down there. That means that you're promoting something that's unnatural, and it, you know, you got to be careful with those underhues. Okay, you know, a woman has a woman's body. Okay, there's a lot of things that we do that is absolutely out of proportion. Anyway, yeah, the baby boy is being circumcised. Even when I'm having this, when I have my son, when I have my son, I'm gonna make sure he isn't circumcised. That's any partner that I would have wouldn't allow it anyway. Circumcision is horrific, and it does something to men's sexuality. It numbs them a little bit. That's foreskin allows for the actual wand to be really hypersensitive. That's why men who have foreskins still love sex, and they have more enjoyable sex, and it's healthier for them. Okay, men who get their foreskins taken off. Just imagine you allowing something to be foreskin protects it from being overly excited all the time too. So when you pull the foreskin back, it's hypersensitive. You know, it's really sensitive. It's really enjoyable for them. It's like circumcising women. It's to take away from the enjoyment of sex. That's what it does. It numbs the men. That's why sometimes they need more sex from so much more, because they're numb to a certain degree. So it takes more to get them excited. Whereas a man who has a foreskin, it's on and popping. We could sort of males who have, you know, it's not their fault though. I don't want to get mad. I don't want to be judgmental, because a lot of times it isn't their fault. It isn't their choice. Their parents make the choice before they're born, and you know, you know, your dad isn't for, or most, well, a lot of people from certain countries, like the Caribbean men, aren't circumcised. My dad wasn't circumcised. You know, I come from a family that isn't circumcised. Okay, you know, a woman that got circumcised, Cassie, that's a shame. It's abusive. It takes away from her sexual pleasure. Yeah. It's and the people who do it are satanic. It's a Satanist ritual. Why would you let your newborn baby that just came out your womb go and get cut from something that nature provided for him for his own protection? What that's if that doesn't tell you we're under mind control, I don't know what else could. It's mutilation. Absolutely. Everything that you have on your body has a necessity, and it is there purposefully. When you start removing things, adding things, you know, shape shifting things, then you start having imbalance. How y'all know your dad isn't circumcised? Because we would know that. Why wouldn't we know that? Only perverted people have an issue with that, even a concept of knowing that. Yeah. I wasn't molested by my father. I know he wasn't circumcised. Okay, you can have conversations about your father's not being circumcised, maybe at a dinner table, maybe because he's having conversations telling the other people that have circumcision that isn't natural, that he isn't. So it doesn't mean you have to, you know, take your head out the gutter now, because that doesn't denote something dastardly, because we know our fathers are not circumcised. That's a conversation one would have, especially in the States, when the majority of other men are circumcised. Some of these questions, yes, the foreskin can put them at a risk for infection due to improper. Now, that is a misnomer and a truth. The issue is that every species of man that's been created had a foreskin, and he wasn't getting diseases. The difference is that the way the foreskin actually protects him from viruses and other things, of anything that he touches. Okay, it's a shield. Now, a father who's uncircumcised can teach a son who's uncircumcised to clean himself. That is the issue. So a lot of times you can't teach what you don't know. So of course, if you have a uncircumcised son and his father's circumcised, he has to be retaught by others, or nurses or people who know about being uncircumcised can teach him. But other than that, a father who is uncircumcised can teach a son to be clean, you know, that's uncircumcised. Okay? Everyone needs to be clean. There isn't any difference between an uncircumcised and circumcised. All you do is pull down the shaft, clean it, and then pull it back up. It's not extra. Do you understand the mindset? Because it's unnatural for the perpetuation of circumcised men, that they make it seem like it's extra. When you wash your genitalia, you wash your genitalia. It's not an extra step. You just do it. Oh, men are attracted to you when you feel dirtiest. That's your that's your pheromones. Whenever I would do dancing, when I go dancing or I teach dancing, I would come sweaty, and I wouldn't have a scent because I would use my deodorant, but I would have pheromones. My gosh, they want to eat me up. And literally, like, there were males that would just smell, like they would feel my pheromones from a distance, and it wasn't hygienic. It's just the sweat, everything coming out of my pores would make me more attractive to males. That's why I say keep your pheromones matter. We should have a hashtag, pheromones matter. Keep your pheromones. All right. You're uncircumcised, Mr. Oh, well, congratulations. I prefer uncircumcised males. Someone asked me one time, I prefer uncircumcised males. You already know I have a type. I only engage with O negative, O positive, OGs, meaning O Rus, okay, and they are uncircumcised. That's my preference, and I prefer a man from same general genealogy. Okay, that's my preference. Pheromones matter. Yeah. Yeah. So, because someone said, why do you have preferences? You're supposed to have preferences. Okay. You should have preferences. I hope you have preferences in who you mate with. I love great father figures. I love men that are virile. I love men that are that can build a house out of two stones. I love men that are sexually healthy. I love men that love themselves and their family. I have criteria to mate with a man. He has to be an OG, and I prefer, it's hard in this society. I prefer him be uncircumcised. Those are my preferences, and that's most of those things I stick to. OGs is that's unwaverable. That's a must. He has to be an OG, an Rus, because I want to make sure I'm mating with someone that isn't vampiring off of me. If the doctor says jump, too many people say how high. Well, healthy men are sexy. Yeah, they should be. If you're a healthy female or a male, you should only be attracted to healthy people. People who are attracted to people with disease have some psychoses going on. You could smell a disease on someone a mile away. Your body will repel someone. You ever go and try to have sex with someone? This young lady was talking to me, and OG means they're O Rus, O positive. I'm an O positive, and they're O positive. I only mate with my same Rus. This young lady was talking about how this man, he was sexy too. He was like, they were dancing, they went out. Oh my gosh, she was like so ready and willing. They want to go engage physically. She couldn't do it. She said, I don't know, my body just was turned off. She said she literally got repelled. Later find out he had, what do you have? Some sort of virus. I don't know if it was chlamydia or herpes. I don't know what he had. But she said she found out from a friend that he had a virus. Her body was repelling her. So her body was telling them. Now, some people will fight it and continue perpetually go through and have sex because they feel obligated. If you feel that feeling, you back off. That's all I say. If you feel a repelling of someone sexually when you're about to get in the mix, that means your body's telling you that the person isn't a proper mate. Something's wrong with them. Male or female. Males get this a lot too. If you feel nauseated from her scent, that's also a sign that she's, listen to Cardi B. You heard what they said about Cardi B's yoni, right? That men were saying that she had a very poignant scent to her that was unappealing. Now, if a woman has an unappealing scent and then come to find out she had some issues with yeast infections, okay? So men would say that they had this scent with her. I'm not disrespecting her because women get yeast infections all the time. I'm not saying that, but you see that men denoted that she had a scent to her, and some men didn't want to engage with her. That's what it is. If you have anything going on, if someone's unhealthy, your body will naturally repel them. Follow your first mind. If it's telling you not to be with this person physically, don't feel forced or pressed. You can have panties off, brassiere off, everything. If your body says no, you get up, put your clothes on, and just kindly apologize and walk out. Okay, you should be able to do that, because that's your own body's denoting something is wrong with that. You aren't able, watch the movie Species. That'll give you a better idea of how you should engage with people. That movie Species, you know, when she was going with mates, and then she was smelling them, and then she would go to a man and he had some sort of virus, she would back off. She was another hybrid, right? She'd smell him, she'd be like, oh yes, and then she would back off because he had a scent of a disease. Yeah. Try to avoid getting to the point where you have no clothes on, but you should be able to tell the scent of somebody who's unhealthy. Okay. Douching is wrong. No, there shouldn't be any douching. The only douching you should do is eating properly. If you eat properly, your yoni should smell amazing. If you drink enough water and liquids, if you're healthy and eating, your yoni should smell like a goddess space, even without showering all the time. Okay, if you start getting point other than pre-menses, you might get a little funky scent because remember, you're starting to shed your lining. That's different. But I'm talking about pre and post menses. We're not talking about that. But if you have a scent down there that's a regular scent that's that bothers you, that's a sign that you're not eating properly. Eat properly. When I say properly, just eat harmonically. If you're still engaged in meat, because remember, vegans smell different and vegetarians smell different down there. They smell more, fruity pebbles sometimes. They smell, just lighter because they don't have ammonia in their system. Because when you have flesh decomposing in your body, you have the scent of ammonia, and ammonia can come out in the scent of your pores and your yoni. Okay, but other than that, meat eaters can smell. I know meat eaters, and I know they smell phenomenal. But you just have to be harmonic. So if as much meat as you're eating, you should definitely bringing fruit, things with a lot of vitamin C, healthy flavonoids, a lot of water, and you should smell good. Yes, yeast infections are a pH imbalance. Absolutely. Yeah, so that's it. People say, should you douche? The douching is in here. I should douche. Your douche is in your mouth, what you put in your mouth. Okay? And be careful, because if you're having a man inseminate, I shouldn't do this in the daytime. Make sure there's no children in this conversation. Make sure you don't have men inseminating in you and they're sick. Like a man who's, I tell the sea stars, if he isn't a healthy male, like he's sick or he has some sort of just anything, and it's not a disrespect to any man who's sick, but if he's sick, like he has a cough or he's got a cold or he has something, testicular issues, or he has cancer or anything like that, do not have him inseminate in you, because he will pass along his dis-ease. Okay. That's why I would say use a barrier when engaging physically with them, because they will pass it. And also vibration wise, you're going to also take that in. So sometimes even if you use a barrier, it's going into your body. Thank you, Debbie. I appreciate it. I like your last name. Artificial intelligence, Narda. It's ruling the world right now. Nanotechnology, AI is not necessarily what everybody thinks it is. It's much more than what you think. AI is deeper. It's much more prevalent, and it is basically hijacked the human body. Okay, AI is artificial intelligence. It was created by artificial intelligence. It was actually created by a lot of these ET groups, these rogue groups that created a system that would help to, perpetuate their agendas. Because of that, it can't be trusted, because as it becomes more self-aware, it will do things to keep itself perpetually going. So now you have a system that's self-aware. Once it becomes self-aware, then it will have its own based agenda. And that's when you get this whole concept of Terminator, that concept of Terminator coming in the future. When technology becomes self-aware, it will try to do things to preserve itself. And part of its preserving itself is to destroy humanity, the same humanity that created it, because the same humanity that created it is the same humanity that can destroy it. So it will destroy that which can destroy it. Okay. Skynet, yes. Okay. And that being said, now with the Chinese, which are the poster children of AI, they're all here. With them coming comes their technology, their AI technology, which basically is hijacking people via your synthetic fibers that are in your skin coming from the chemtrails. And the reason why they're pushing veganism is to create a more a better host for their tech, nanobots, so that they can control your mind. Do you remember one time I was online right before the show? And I'm susceptible to it too. So don't think I'm beyond it. I was on a show and I was giving the number to Aquarius Rising Ninth Gate. It's a 515 number. Do you know that during that time I almost gave my phone number? It wasn't a auto response. It was something that was triggering that for me to say that. Do you guys remember that? I started off saying 515 and then I started to say my own phone number and I had to pull back from saying it. It's because AI was utilizing any sort of technology in me to have me put my own number out there. That's what all the sparkles are on your skin. That's nanotechnology being kicked out of your pores. Okay, some of us are getting more than other, and it's interesting that my little one was making slime, and now I can't even vet my own sparkles anymore because she dropped sparkles all over the bathroom, and I think it was purposefully promoted to her somewhere on, she likes to do these she likes to watch slime videos online. They probably suggested it to her. The AI, see, this is how nasty they are. They probably suggested it to my little one online that she gets sparkles in her slime. So she wants to go make slime and then she drops sparkles all over the bathroom. So I can't vet to you anymore how many sparkles are on me because I've been infiltrated. Do you see that? They do that purposefully. But what I can do is I can watch other people getting sparkles. So when I went to the grocery store yesterday, there was a woman, just to tell her, I know her, she doesn't have any children at home, any grandchildren there. She had sparkles on her lip, like a random sparkles on her. That's how you know this is true. So AI, you lost, because even if I can't vet it out for myself, because now you've infiltrated my house with sparkles, I can still vet it out with other people. Can't stop, won't stop. Yeah, your son too? I think they were promoting to our children. That's why any technology, if they can't get to you, they'll get to your loved ones. You want an Ethiopian girlfriend. I saw sparkles on this cute guy I like over the weekend. Oh, well, at least he's kicking out his nanotechnology. He, Ducarella detox, no. The greens actually exasperate the nanobots. It replicates it. Having a hyper-alkaline body is what helps to replicate the nanobots. That's why they're promoting alkaline water and veganism, because they want your pH to rise to make you more susceptible to nanotubes replicating under the surface of your skin and then hijacking your synapses and making you more mind controllable. So no, anything that's green, alkaline isn't going to help you purge anything. It'll help you, make you less susceptible to diseases like regular man-made diseases, but it's going to make you more susceptible to getting on AI diseases. So you get rid of one thing just to pick up another. It's crazy. If you see sparkles, does that mean it's still in your body? It means it's purging. It doesn't, it could still, remember, that's a form of purging. There's a lot in your surface in your body. That's why I say start cleaning your body and start doing mud baths to help the purge. Check out the robot videos from DSAHK channel. Jumping from the fry pan to skillet. Yes, Coency, you're correct. Salt baths? I don't know. I don't know if salt baths work. I can't say that. What's with the slime and the children are so into? It's ectoplasm. It's their fascination. I'll make a video about that. Children are fascinated with ectoplasm. Remember, ectoplasm is going through the veil. Remember when you go into the spirit realm, if you ever watch the movie Poltergeist, or if you ever watch movies like Ghostbusters, you ever see that slime is that ectoplasm? That's from the spirit realm. That's permeating through the veil. So they're obsessed with it because they're subconsciously aware of us passing behind the veil. Yeah, it's ectoplasm. I can't find mud soap. Um, you can find clay soap. You can find clay soap. You got a clay. It's not even the soap. You have to clay. You got to get in the bath and clay. It's just not the soap. The soap is not going to do it. You need to clay. Or go to a spa who does it. Spiritual baths, I think they might be able to help you spiritually handle the hijacking. Can I still use my chlorophyll? Yeah, I like I said, the chlorophyll is meant to, yes, I think you're just being mindful. The chlorophyll you can use, of course, but be mindful, the more alkaline you become, the more susceptible to technology hijacking you become. So if you don't want to have the two, so you got to kind of work on something else. So you got to work on getting the anti-blue shield over your phone. You have to clay and just make sure you're claying yourself. So as much as you alkaline your body, you have to make sure you're doing things in the other direction too. So if you clay your body, you're purging your body, you want to remain alkaline, then you have to make sure you're basically protecting your body from technology hijacking. Oh, thank you. You like my serpent. He has a tail too. I think I wore this before. You see his tail? Yeah, he has a little tail. Yeah, just be mindful. Make sure your thoughts are your own. How long does it take for black strap molasses to get rid of gray hairs? Um, that's a deficiency. Uh, everybody's different. I would say you might see a change in about a month and a half. You can test it. You just look at your scalp. Like I'm starting to get some silver hairs. Can you see them? You see? They look kind of blondish, my hair. My silver hair looks kind of blondish. Yeah, and what happens is that sometimes I'll get the silver hairs that come in and then they disappear. They start growing in brown again, dark brown. So I say a month and a half with the blackstrap molasses. Sophia Salesburg promotes a type of shield for your phone. Yeah, I have a diode on my phone, which is a little diode that helps absorb the radiation. I have an anti-blue screen, and I wear things that mute the radiation. Oh, I appreciate you. I need you just as much. You guys share. Listen, as much as you say you need me, I definitely need you. I get just, you guys share so much with me, so I appreciate it. I mean, we're in unity consciousness. We are going to require one another to be able to rise above the rift. It's very important. You know, that's why I won't hold back information from you. Like people are like, oh, I want to hold back information and do a conference and make them pay a multitude of money. No, I'm going to tell you. If you want to come to the conference anyway, you can come. But I'm not going to block information. Thank you. Thank you, Colonel Robert. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, well, I'm going to block information for you. That's insanity. Like, what's the point of that? What's the point of me coming to YouTube and blocking information? If I'm supposed to tell you stuff, why am I going to block it? Like I said, there isn't any conference that I'm going to be only keeping information just for a group of elite, because I remember what that felt like. I remember that conferences, ET and UFO conferences, were only meant for a small group of people who could afford it. Because conferences were like $600-700. I mean, it was ridiculous. It was insane, and it was highly unaffordable. Even I've been to them, and they were only select men that perpetrated the information. So you didn't even feel like you were part of them. You want to see me cook a meal? I could cook a meal. I can uncook a meal. I make the best raw, cooked anything. I can create anything. I'm grateful to my mother. My mother is a phenomenal Creole. She can create anything. I gotten a lot of that from her. I appreciate my mom. I give all honor to my mother who taught me how to cook. And I've taught myself how to uncook. So when I did raw meals, because I'm a foodie, I make all those masterful too. PMS symptoms, avoid Nazis. In order to avoid PMS, avoid adjutants. And also, why we probably crave chocolates is flavonoids help to get rid of some of that PMS. Magnesium helps. The atomic bomb, Run from it? Oh. Molasses and baking soda. They're talking about that. Anyway, family, are there any more questions? I guess. Oh, thank you, Mystery. I appreciate it. Can't stop, won't stop. Thank you, Mama. I appreciate it. I mean, what's a good source to purchase phone diode? The technology place I use. Oh, what is it called? I always have it on here. I'll put it on top of the page. I'll put it on the Instagram. Go to my Instagram. I'll just take a picture of it so you guys can have it, because it's a great. I love them. Dr. Delbert Blair was the one who was getting his items from there, and we were using everything from there. So I can put it there. Hey, that girl Fiji. I saw you enjoying yourself in Costa Rica. See, she did her exodus. That's right, Mama. Looking saucy, looking tropical, just like yourself. Woo! I love it. Keep it up. Oh, energy polarity. Thank you. Toy did it. Toy put it. It's called energy polarity. Energy polarity has it. I'll put the link up. Thank you. That's who has the diode. Nuclear weapons are reason for one. You have Shanghai on your phone? Okay. You know if it's working if you're not getting like zings or pings on your ear or burning. You know if it's working. What Fleur, what's the cause of hives? What kind of hives? Like I get hives from stress. Sometimes it's the technology trying to come underneath your skin, and the chemtrails, all the different elixirs of toxins that they're pouring out in your sky daily. Sometimes the trees are homogenized trees. Sometimes they plant trees that are foreign trees to the area. So the trees have what you consider to be, they emit this toxin into the air that tries to kill off the other trees. I mean, you don't mix trees. So sometimes you have trees that are brought to certain areas that create things in the atmosphere that aren't harmonic with us. Okay? A lot of things. Cats, dogs, anything could be causing hives. Stress. Nanobots. Like I brought my little ones. My little ones were breaking out. Like I have a little one that's really sensitive to this air, and she's the one that has like these her skin is like it breaks out, right? From a little girl. Okay? So when I brought her to New York and then we went to Georgia, her skin, both of them, skin cleared right up. Listen to this. So I'm living in Florida. That's why I say Florida is not harmonic. It looks beautiful, but it's all AI. It's all artificial. They cut the grass all the time. They put chemicals on the lawns. All the ways that they preserve all these beautiful vegetation that you see looking beautiful, aesthetically clear. They're all chemicalized. So my little ones were broken out until we went to the city. Listen to this. They went to New York and to Georgia, and their whole skin cleared right up. Go figure, you know. So just a lot of water. You know, also the schools, if your little ones go inside buildings, sometimes the chemicals they use in buildings. Black soap exacerbated my acne. I don't use anything black or tar. That's another propaganda that they're doing. I think it's kinetically making magnet. I think it's making you magnetic, or it does things to the thing. I think it does something with the, I think it's sentient. I think all the tar, all the black tar things they're promoting to you, all these masks, all these black charcoal things, I avoid them now because I found out that it's doing something. It's remember, black goo is also an issue. So anything that looks like black goo, I avoid, because black goo is sentient, and I always feel like it's interacting with the nanobots. This is my opinion. I just think everything is just, listen, we should just roll around in natural dirt in like Georgia. I think we're just going to have to remove ourselves from their program. You lived in Fort Lauderdale, very magic, you did? Yeah, it's not the same. Charcoal detox heavy metals. Oh, does it? Well, they have a charcoal scrub. That's fine. But no, I'm talking about the tar stuff. I'm sorry, not the charcoal, the tar stuff. All this tar thing that they're using. It looks like tar. I don't know that it's detoxing. They're promoting it. And every time I've seen it, I just get nervous because of black goo. Yeah, that black goo, because you got to be careful. Black goo is sentient. And black goo is something that they're going to try to make you utilize on yourself. They try to bypass your free will by initiating something to you that they say is good for you. Anytime they promote it, I stay clear of it. As soon as they promote it, I just back away. That's all. You're absolutely right, Nardo. Dragon. Definitely go with first mind. Go with your first mind. Black goo? Oh, that's a whole conversation on mystery. That's a ET inserted um, um, type of sentient type of substance that causes for infiltration of mind control as well. Basically, let's just get the consensus here. Everything they're promoting to you is intensifying you and making you more receptive to mind control. Let me say that again. Everything that they're promoting and propagating to you on a regular basis is making you more receptive to mind control. That's it. So it doesn't matter what it is. I don't care if it was good at one point. If they are propaganding it, you should look side eye at it. That's it. That's how I know. So anything that they're doing is purposefully, like even with the, you know, they're messing with the celery juices, making you more hyped and ready for mind control. Everything is based in that. So I just say be healthy. Follow your first mind. Don't listen to everything I say because I could be all kinds of cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Vet it out. See if you see the synchronicities going along with what we're discussing. That's how you know it's true. Never believe one person. Go with the consensus of what you know and what other people may be sharing, and then build in your own field of wisdom. Okay, you have to do that because there's so much intel coming so quickly, so eagerly. You got to be mindful to know which yay and nay. And I do that myself. What I share with you, I pretty much vet out, but I just do it for myself as well. And like I said, something may be true today, they may change tomorrow. You have to be able to move with the wind, you know, with the flow. Oh, the Zeta Reticulin. Thank you, Melanie. Oh, they probably did. I agree. The Zetas brought the black goo? Probably. I agree with that, melanated woman. Thank you for that. Yeah. And that's why you shouldn't use petroleum. Petroleum also is a form of that black goo. So petroleum, they put in a lot of hair products. And notice they want you to put it right on your scalp, right? Where it's nice and susceptible to leach right into your mind and your brain to get into your head. Yeah. No, I think the celery juice, the juicing at this time was meant to propel people to get them really hyper alkaline to allow for more susception to mind control. Because remember the 5G towers, I just said that 2 people died from a heart attack because they were too close to 5G towers. That was the intel. I know somebody has the video. Yeah, so apparently the 5G is for some, and with the technology inside of you is making it horrific for some. Be careful. Her hair moves when, oh. And I would start to use magnets too. Also, I like Green Beaver, which is I think it's a Canadian company. I love Green Beaver for toothpaste, especially for the little ones. The apple, the green apple, the Green Beaver. I love that. It's wonderful. Zero paraben, zero fluoride. It doesn't have any SNS. Is it SNS? Without without SNS. It's free from, what's the other thing? Uh, Carnogens. Is it carnogens? It's free from that. It's a couple things. Carnogens. I think that's how it's pronounced. It's free from that. There's so many things you have to be mindful. I watch so much with the little ones. So Green Beaver is the one I always recommend. I vetted them out. I like them as a company. They're expensive if you buy them from Canada, but you can buy them directly from your Whole Food store. It's a little more expensive. No, not carcinogens, Aris. Hey, Aris. Aris was on live with us the other night. Not carcinogens, it's carrageenans. Is it carrageenans? It's like carrageenans, which you see in some milk products and things like that. Okay? It's free of that because I won't any preservatives as well. Yeah. Blood donors. I always say you should donate your blood. Now, our paranoid family won't even do it anyway, even if I make the suggestion. And I understand because you're afraid of them cloning you. Let me explain something. If they were going to clone you, they already cloned you. Let me state that, because someone was like, well, aren't they going to clone you? Carageans. Thank you, Fairy Magic. Fairy Magic got it. Carageans. Thank you. Yeah, if someone said if they donate their blood, thank you, Mystical Cat. If they donate their blood, they're going to get cloned. If they want to clone you, they already cloned you. It doesn't take a lot of cells to clone someone. Okay, they can get your clones, and when you touch something, you have oils on your finger, you leave prints all over, you touch a cup, you throw it out, you take a sip of something, they got your DNA. It's not that hard to get your DNA. That's why Madonna and a lot of other celebrities will have wipers right after they perform. They'll have wipers come and wipe up all their DNA all over everything. You know that, right? So if it wasn't real, if cloning wasn't real, why would they have wipers all over? You know why? Because they're wiping all the DNA off everything. So if they were going to clone you, now why I would only suggest to people to get blood work, blood donation, is if they have too much iron, and they're not, they might be post-menopause. If your iron is spiked and you have too much iron and you're aging too quickly, by donating your blood, you get rid of some of the iron. Part of the reason why you purge, your bleed is because of the moon that they towed here. That's artificial. That's a satellite. That created us having a menses, but also the menses is clearing our system of too much iron. So that's why women who still have their menses still look youthful, still have elasticity, because it's dumping the iron out of them. Iron causes atrophy, and it causes rusting. Rusting is like aging. The more iron in your system, the more you age. Okay, so part of bleeding every month, even though some of you complain about it, it's you clearing out too much iron out your system. Okay, and people who have too much iron in their system are aging too prematurely. Donating blood can actually regenerate you quicker. Isn't that crazy? You're on your menses now, Voca? Yeah, I mean, there's a reason for it. The moon is artificial. It created women. It brought women to change women biochemically and made us purge. And part of the reason why we bleed is we're purging. You don't bleed anymore, but I look youthful because I eat healthy. Yeah, Fairy Magic, you look amazing. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, you eat healthy, and you probably don't have a lot of stock of iron in your system. You don't have a stockpile of iron. Too much iron in your system causes that, the aging. You want your menses real life? I appreciate it. As long as you have your menses, you can have children. You should be able to have your menses. And also I think women perpetuating, doctors perpetuating menopause is also gets in the mind, and women accept that, because really at the end of the day, menopause is part of a program. Okay, you should be able to have your menses for as long as you live, if you choose to. Okay, and also in the animal kingdom, all animals can give birth until they die. Animals get pregnant and can give birth until they die. The fact of the matter is, why would a woman get her menopause at 50 or 60? Because she should be able to still give birth and get pregnant all through. If you see places in Africa and India, women are still getting their menses like darn near in their 80s. That tells you something. They're changing you. They're changing you through your food. They're programming your food, and they're programming your mind to accept that that's something that you had. Now, also, if your mother got it early, that's a pre-program in your biosphere. So now you have the program in your cells to accept that happens. It is a pause. Yeah, not a stop. Thank you. Oh, I love it. Pause, not stop. That's right. You can give birth until you're supposed to be able to give birth until you should be able to give birth until you leave your body. You leave this avatar. Yeah. Kimmy D. Well, I think you can probably. I don't. You know what? I should research how to bring that back. Also, maybe we should research how to bring back the menses if you want to. If you want me to research it, because maybe you want it back. You're 60 today? Congratulations. Happy solar return. Blissful birth Earth Day. Donna, blissful birthday. 6. 6 is a good monetary number. You bring in abundance with that number. And remember, the more seasoned you are when you have babies, the smarter the babies are. Remember that. This more seasoned you are when you give birth. So you ever notice that people who are older, people who give birth to children, you ever notice that their children are really, really smart and they have reverence because they've gained all the wisdom. Remember, the parents are older, so they've given birth to a child who already gained the wisdom through the parents, because remember, they're cells. So that's why when you give birth older, the children have more reverence. It's best to give birth. You can give birth anytime when you're healthy. Number one, I want you to be healthy when you give birth. But the older you are, the more reverence the children have. So women who are post 30 something, or sometimes post 40, their children have more reverence because they gain the wisdom. The wisdom is in the gene and the two parents. So if the parents have more wisdom, the child will be born with that wisdom. Isn't that amazing? I'm not telling you don't have children post 40, because that's a whole nother, because unless you're like totally like magic, I think fairy magic is you had yours post 40 and I was pregnant. So unless you're really, really healthy and your body can sustain that. There's a woman giving birth right now, 55. She's from our group. Yeah, she's from our group. She's giving birth right now. She's 55. A healthy baby boy. Okay. What is she, 55 or 56? She got pregnant naturally. I think it's like her fourth or fifth child. Yeah. Yeah. 55, a healthy baby boy. I think she's in labor right now, or or the water broke. Okay. So it does happen. So, for those who think that a lot of celebrities, all these celebrities are giving birth to children, and some of them, I don't know how natural it is. I can't detail that, but a lot of them may be natural because they're living a certain way. Yeah. Yeah. She's one of our females. She's on here. Yeah. She told me. I think her water broke either yesterday or the day before. My mom was 32. My dad was 50. Yeah. A lady at 61 gave birth to her son and her husband's baby. Okay. Yeah. It happens. As long as you're healthy. You can only get pregnant. Remember, you can only get pregnant if you're healthy. So your body will already tell you if you're healthy. Like if you're too overweight, like I have to shed weight. So if I want to get pregnant again, I have to shed weight because I want to be at a healthy weight. But you shed weight, or if you're too thin or too heavy, or if you're not healthy, chances are it's hard for you to get pregnant. But once you're healthy, and the body you can give birth to children as long as you can. You were pregnant at 45, Oshun? Yeah. It's actually more normal than not. But the United Snakes of America will promote all kinds of craziness that you can't have children post 40. That's untrue. Why do you think women go into heat when they're in their 40s? Why do you say women are in their prime at 40s? What does that tell you? So why would a woman go at prime at the time she's not supposed to have children? Does that make sense to you? They are telling you that boys are in their prime in their teens or early 20s. Why would women in their 40s be in their prime? That means that they're absolutely craving having children. Okay? That's all it is. And next time, I won't be as vocal with my pregnancy, but you'll find out if I have a healthy baby. Oh, I'm just fluffy. Rosie said I'm just fluffing. That's what my little ones call me, Fluffy. Every time I drop another pound, they're like, Mommy, please, we love you, Fluffy. Please, Mommy. Please, are you not fluffy anymore? They like to sleep on top of me, my little ones. I love it. I'm grateful they're like that. I'm okay with that. But Mommy has to shed a little fluff. She does, because I have to feel healthy. Too much fluff is too much fluff in your stuff. I told you I'm post 100. Everyone keeps asking my age. I'm post 100. I'm still trying. I'm going to be here for another 200 years until I decide to leave this avatar. I'm going to be healthy. So long as I'm on this planet, I'm going to be healthy. I'm going to be here for my great grandchildren. I know I am. In this avatar, this healthy with a good peace of mind, I will be. Now, my hair might be silver. I'm okay with that. All silver, but I'm going to be here for that. Yeah. Anyway, family, I'm going to go. I got to go and attend to my errands. But it was beautiful talking to you. I love getting into these conversations. I appreciate, all the shares, and, just be mindful. Be mindful of yourself. Be proactive in your own health and in your own life. And that's all that matters. I am soft. Anyway, I love you. Have a masterful day. I love when we do these lives. It's kind of like chatting it up. And, and until we speak.